What's up, people? Hotep Jesus. We back. No, it's not an episode of Hotep's Been Told You. Today is a very special episode where I get to interview my homie, my partner, my ace. You know what I'm saying? Been riding through the political trenches with him for about at least half a decade now, at the very least.
Yeah.
At the very least, a half a decade. But before we get into that talk, I got to pay the bills. Right now, I'm raising money for my tech companies. All those links in the description box below. So make sure y'all get tuned in. Wazo is doing very well. We've carved out some nice niches as far as the camera vision technology is concerned. So we're really honing down. We got like 16 main metrics that we do people counting with. Some interesting things like heat mapping, so on and so forth, and even descriptions of people. We'll even be able to divide your building by gender, which is kind of interesting in 2020. But without further ado, my nigga, Uncle Hotep. Uncle Hotep, what's good, yo?
Not much, man. What's going on, man? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, yo. I just did a day at the beach with the fam.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I seen it.
Yeah. I was trying to just stretch my legs in this white man's oppressive world. Yes, sir. You going to the beach this weekend? Because this is holiday weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to pick some apples. I'm going to apple picking tomorrow. And
Okay.
beyond that, I don't know. I just cooked out this earlier today. I don't know if I'm doing beach or anything. I am getting rid of the kids on Sunday, so we might plan to do something then, but I don't know.
Okay. That sounds like a dope weekend. Anytime you get rid of the kids, it's definitely a dope weekend, dope time.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to talk about you as a kid, and we're just going to just walk through. I just kind of want to understand how you become the man you are today, because you're a very interesting individual. You fit into a very unique niche, which is rare amongst the black stock of men.
Okay.
So you grew up in PA?
Yeah, I grew up in Pennsylvania. Majority of the time, a little small town, Exton, Pennsylvania.
Who?
In Exton, Pennsylvania. I don't know if you've ever been out there. In primary Westchester, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned this plenty of times before. It was like, I don't know, like a middle class neighborhood. Back then, it wasn't like it is today. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll see a whole bunch of people of color in these middle class neighborhoods. Back in them days, man, you could count like in one hand how many was on there. So it was just, me, my mom, and dad out there. Stayed out there till like, I don't know, freshman year, high school. Then my mom and my dad split up. So me and my mom moved to an apartment out in Westchester. And that's so I'm kind of between Exton and Westchester. Like, Westchester's a lot bigger, you know what I mean? But
Okay.
Exton's really like a one. It's just like a little small like neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Right, suburb.
Yeah.
So did you deal with racism out there? You're one of the few what do they call them? What Joe Biden call y'all?
What do you say?
It's outstanding. What do you say? Foundational.
Outstanding case, extraordinary. He said outstanding or extraordinary. Yeah. But as far as racism, hell yeah. That white man was vicious back then. I don't know what happened. Like the white man of the early 80s, late 70s, and early 90s is a lot different than what it is today. I had a lot of fights. It was a lot of name calling. Usually I was only the black kid on the bus. So, I had a lot of fights with white folks, man. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why I kind of see the difference between some people that never really dealt with, like, on a daily basis, racism, like how they cry about it today. You
Yeah.
know, I really didn't have too many friends. I only had like my one neighbor across the street. I was cool with him, but I really didn't have no friends until like me and my mom went to Westchester. Then I hung out. There's some black people up in Westchester, so you know, what I mean. So that, I mean, I was just hung with
The
uh,
homies.
a group of brothers, and that was my clique for the rest of the time. But yeah, definitely. All types of names, man. All types of
Mm.
names. And I remember one time, I don't know, some kid called me, I don't know, baby black, porch monkey, or something like that. So I was sitting in the beginning of the bus. So I was mad as shit. I had enough of it, right? Because
Yeah.
there all bus was left. I went back there, smashed his head into the to the you know how the bus windows are. Smashed his head in the window. Bus driver said, "Oh man, it was a female." She was like, "Man," she turned the whole bus around, told trip around, went back to school, dropped me off, kicked me off the bus, and then I explained to the principal what happened. I could see that he was just like, when I told him what happened, he was like, I didn't even get in trouble for it. It was
Yeah.
just like, I don't know, like back in those days, it was kind of swept under the rug or something like that.
Mm.
And a lot of times, I felt like. And I listened to him. Like I remember my mom bought like a silver Camaro,
Mm.
right? White
Mhm.
folks is mad on the bus.
A silver Camaro.
Yeah, it was just like a regular Camaro.
Woo!
Man, it
Yeah,
was cool. It was like
nigga. You know how much the white man love the Camaro?
so. How'd y'all get that? Grand Theft Auto? It's like we had to steal it. You know what I'm saying? you know, um. So sometimes I think it might have been a little resentment, um, that we were able to afford the same neighborhood, same houses they were in. To
Mhm.
be honest, I would have rather not grown up there. I told my dad that I was like, well, I don't want to live here, man. Like, well, while we out here, I mean, I had this stuff I had to deal with every day, you
Mhm.
know. And he gave me the rundown about, Sean tear up the neighborhood so he can't live out there. That's how he told me. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. That's exactly what he told me. He said he was ashamed to say it, but niggas tear up shit. That's what he said. That's why we was living out next to Pennsylvania. So, but I think I think that because I ran into that later, I seen people like, you know, mad like that they want to stay above you, like
Mm.
us,
Mhm.
and to me, I don't get that, like I don't care what you do, man. Do the best as you can do. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, but it seemed like there was some people were mad and had animosity that um we were on the same level that they were. And like I said, there was only like there was the Bensons and this one other black family lived there for a minute. So I can name it like, and there was this Jamaican family, one of your peoples, right? So that's three, right? And
Yeah.
it was at least like I don't know, close to 100 over 50, 100 houses. It was like a little small size neighborhood, like
Yeah.
you take a walk around like twice, did a good mile or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's how I dealt with a lot of racism coming up. I don't know how that affects me today. Like I said, I think some of these people are crying, and that's why I think I can go on poll because I've heard all these jokes before. I know how the man can get vicious. A lot of these people look at that and they never grew up around these people. Like a lot of these people online, because I hear y'all talk about the suburban blacks all the goddamn time, act like we don't got no say in nothing, we ain't black. I hear y'all, but on the flip side, what y'all talking about, we really lived. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all go
Mhm.
to these, like, what are y'all complaining about? Y'all went to all black school,
Mhm.
nothing but people look like yourself, and you still got crying about something. You know what I'm saying? What are you crying about? You should be like they should be lucky they live there. I mean lucky how they were raised, when they were enriched, and that's something I was kind of jealous of a little bit. I felt like I think I might have missed out on some cultural things, but that's my parents weren't really like that. They weren't woke, what I mean? My dad was like a conservative woke, what I'm saying? But he still voted for Lyndon B. Johnson's party. But and my mother, she grew up on the main line. The main line is like a wealthy neighborhood in PA. Not that she come from a rich family, but she had a air of uh what's it? What do they call it?
What?
Respectability politics. Seemed like
Oh,
she's like one of those. You know what I mean? Don't
okay.
better act like some good. Don't act like. Don't,
That's my mama. Yep. My mama got a lot of respectability politics with
don't you dare embarrass me in front of these white folks.
her. Yeah. You know how many times I heard that from my mama? I'm like, Mama, why we care what the white folks think? Yo, for real.
Yeah, so that's how I mean. I did experience. What I'm saying. No doubt it shaped me. What I mean. But I don't know. I didn't. I don't. It is what it is. Because if like I know damn well if it was reverse. I mean, probably had the same people had the same problem. So it was no big deal. I didn't really. I mean, I got in a couple fights, but nothing too crazy.
They ever called you the N word?
No, they wasn't really that. Like that wasn't really the like when I was in the bus and when I was going to school, like they wasn't really that wasn't really like a the lightning phrase that it was today.
Mm,
That kind of changed because they were saying that on Sanford and Son. They were
mm.
saying that on what's the guy moving on up? What was that drawing?
George Jefferson.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
that was my era. You know what I mean? That's when I
Mm-hmm.
was like a kid and growing up. Nobody was like I said, they would call you baby black, porch monkey, you know what I mean? All African jokes. And like they was them type of jokes, but
Okay.
it wasn't really N-word. No. That
Uh,
it must have came like out because I stopped like I said, I moved to Westchester, then I just hang with the Bulls, I'm a Bull. So I really didn't, after that it wasn't really like that. But not back in X. No, not them.
so you in high school? Did you play sports? Was you?
Yeah, I mean, I played football. I was all right. I made all league honorable mention. Um,
Oh
it
yeah.
was
What position you played?
a defensive end.
Oh
Um,
yeah. That's how
yeah,
you was feeling. He's coming off that end line like that.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I was all right. I wasn't. I. It wasn't my best game, best sport. I probably should have kept playing baseball. I stopped playing baseball, um, again because I was only brother. That's one thing I kind of messed up on. I should have kept playing baseball. I
Mm,
really didn't have any friends. Playing baseball.
mm-hmm.
I was only brother on the team most of the time, and there was a few white kids I was cool with, but a lot of them I just wasn't cool with. Um, I like that's the thing I see today. Like if white men don't like me because of who I am, I'm cool with that. I'm just not gonna fuck with you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I see the people complaining about it today. Like there's plenty of people in the world, man. Some people just ain't gonna like you. You know what I mean? So I kind of like in middle school. And another thing, I came. My parents were together, but it was a kind of dysfunctional house. You know what I'm saying? So that affected me well. Um, there was a lot of alcoholism. There was a lot of domestic violence. Um, now I see how it's like a catch-all thing now, like domestic violence and stuff like that. But I really lived it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like I've had to make the call the cops. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
I've had see uh, one of my parents get beat with a baseball bat.
mm,
I've seen the blood. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Um, so that
mm,
there was a lot, and that happened in like a while. You know what I'm saying? From like it took my mom a while to leave, and that was like freshman year high school. So A lot of
Was it just your mom's or you too?
no, I mean, I
He
mean, maybe
he just used to beat your moms, or he never beat you, or
if I mean, he only hit me like he only disciplined me like twice. It wasn't like
wow.
it was like it
Mm.
was it's I don't know how much I want to say.
Right, 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 right.
One of them had a drinking problem, and one of them, like when someone got drunk, somebody hit the other one, because they was
Mhm,
tired of them drinking. You know what I mean? That's how
mhm.
how
Right,
it went. And my dad was raised down south, and he was like, it was a different set of rules back then. You know what I'm saying?
right, right.
So, but no, he wasn't. It wasn't like he never like undisciplined. He never disciplined me for no reason. Like, and he only hit me. I swear I can remember he only hit me twice. And
Wow.
so it wasn't, maybe three times, but it wasn't something like I didn't deserve or anything. Like it wasn't like he wasn't ever callous towards me like that. But I
Mm,
think he had that. We really didn't have a good relationship because like don't stop hit my mom, man. What I mean, a
mhm,
couple times, man. I remember one time, like they got into it again. I'm like, oh, here we go. So he was in the CB radios, right? And like,
mm.
and that's the ham radio, and not the So he had a
Trucker sh
microphone with like a iron, like a short microphone with an iron base at the bottom, so it was
mm,
heavy, right? So
mm.
I was sick of it, man. I took it one time, and they was fighting in the middle of the hallway. I took it, and it was heavy. I took it and threw it at him, right? And he was a big boy, man. He was 6'1". Yeah, I mean 6 foot, and like I don't know, 230, 240, and he chased me out the house, outside the house. It was crazy, man. And like
Mm.
that was the only really time, what I mean. I was just got tired of it, what I mean. But
Right, right.
but that was another thing, that shaped me, what I mean. It was just that, and that's also I think how it kind of hurt me not being around other people that were in a similar situation because there's really nobody I could go to because there was nobody in the neighborhood that going through the stuff I was going through.
Mhm,
I had cousins, that lived a couple towns over, but I wasn't there every day. I couldn't see them every day. This was before internet. This was before, talking people and something like ride shares. You couldn't see the people every day. So, um, I think that was a big influence in my life as well.
Yeah, yeah. Hold on, let me just check the I know we had super chats. Aztec Mega, $10 super chat. What up, bro? He said, Hotep to the people. Looking forward to this conversation. Don't know who this notable exception is. That was it. Notable exception.
Yeah, that was it.
But he seems like a good dude. Hi, just busting shots. Much love to the Hoteps. Peace, bro. Drew, he said Hotep and Bill. Hotep Saxis, $10 super chat. Thank you. Anthony GN said happy Friday. My eyes drooping lower than HJ right now. I'm in Oregon right now. This is from Fudge Mayo, but want to support. What's up, bro? Appreciate you. 215 in the area. Um, yeah, man. Damn. Um, so you play sports, you play football, right? Um, dealt with racism. Yeah, I dealt with some of that shit too. You lucky though. I used to get my ass whooped. My dad whooped my ass. And you said 3 times, nigga. I got my ass whooped 3 times in a week once, nigga. This is there was Jamaican military ass whippings too. Them shits was organized. You know what I'm saying? But damn, yo. Yeah, that's a wild upbringing. Um and then you don't have no brothers or sisters, right?
Well, I do.
Okay.
Half brother. No, I had brothers on my dad's side. He grew up in North Carolina, and before he came up here, he had a daughter and a son.
Okay.
Um, my sister Bonnie, she passed away of cancer like a while back.
Damn.
And my brother Vance, so, but yeah, I never grew up with them. I mean, like I remember, I don't think I met. Like I met him when I was real young, but before I remember the first time I ever met him, I was like I was like eighth. That was the eighth or ninth grade year. At
Mm,
first time he came, he drove up here, and I met him.
mhm,
He's cool, cool people. Um, but it was just like I don't know. I never. But yeah, that was another thing. I was by myself. I was the only child.
mhm,
So a lot of that stuff that happened in the household, it like hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like I said, I never had nobody really to talk to. It wasn't um like today where you have all these focus groups and you can get help everywhere. You could go online and talk to people. The counselors. It wasn't even like that back in the day. You had to
mhm,
you had to pull it from the muscle. You know what I'm saying?
mhm. Absolutely. Did you go to your prom?
Did I go to my prom? No, I ain't go.
You said, "Fuck that."
Yeah, I mean, like the high school I went to, like it was I went 91. It was like
That wasn't a thing, or
um
because now you got to go. You got to flick it up for the grand.
yeah, yeah, but it was like the crew I hung out with, we wasn't really it was kind of like we was cool with everybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
We was like it was only brothers. It was only like I only had black friends, you know what I mean? But
Right.
um it's like we was cool with the white folks and we was cool with some of the black folks, but we wasn't really totally cool with like we were just on our own clique. Like if it was today, I think we would fit in with the blurs or whatever they call it. We used to hang
Mm,
out, play video games,
mhm,
play basketball, play video games, Madden. I mean, this was when Sega Genesis came out.
mm,
That we would just rock out with that. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't really hanging in the streets. We wasn't selling dope. You know what I mean? We was like all our like all our parents. All everybody had parents, working parents. Nobody was. None of the parents was like on that shit bed. You know, we was. I think we would have fit in with like the blurs, and it wasn't like nobody was. We wasn't like it was. It was just like we was like screw it. We're done with this school. You know what I'm saying?
mm, mm.
Like now there was racism in the school. I remember like this was funny. Like I remember the junior year they vote for your senior class presidents and stuff like that.
Okay.
Now,
Right. Right.
like the school makeup of blacks was only like it was about the same national average, a little bit less. It wasn't that many black folks in there. Every position was black. You know what I mean? Who voted for? And come to find out, like when they gave us the senior yearbooks, they didn't put a picture of the class, the class team. Yeah, yeah. That's what type time that Westchester was on. They left them out. They had to reissue. The NAACP got involved. They had to reissue yearbooks with our class presidents in them in the yearbook because they mysteriously left them out because it was an all black class. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy, man. Like we had a football coach. Like all the brothers that played, he didn't help nobody get no scholarships. None. None. No, he said he didn't believe it. And he said you should go to college on your academic worth.
Who said that?
Our football coach at the time,
Black dude or
and
white dude?
no, it's white guy, man. And
Wow.
he would help out. Some of the white folks, they would help them out, like talk, get in touch with the coach with that. You know what I mean? So some people would call that systematic racism. I mean, it was to me, it was just this dickhead coach. You know what I mean? That was, um, I don't know, being an asshole. Because
Yeah.
the coach right after us, he hooked all the brothers up. You know what I'm saying? It was just
Uh,
like the time period I went through. We was kind of unfortunate. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Um, but
So you
yeah.
were a victim of systemic racism,
I mean, you could say that. I mean, he didn't really have
according to what the left would describe it as. You were
probably
under the
they would
system of
probably
white
say that.
supremacy.
They would probably say that, but I mean, I don't know if it was systematic. Like it to me, if it was systematic, somebody would have to tell him to like, yo, man, don't hook no Negroes up, man. Like somebody higher up from him. To
Mm,
me, it was just him being an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like
mhm.
he said it. He told it everybody. He like he has fought racism his own. being racist towards his own wife. I mean, this is like he had to overcome racism in his life. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So this was what, like, I'm so confused about like people of today talking about racism. I'm like, it was worse in the 80s and 90s. I'm like, where are y'all getting at? Like, you guys have it easy. This is a piece of cake with what these people going on today, and I did, and the thing was, I grew up in, the Jordan. This is when Jordan just first took off, man. And there was a big difference between before Jordan and after Jordan. You know what I'm saying? If you want to, if people want to know, get back to why these Pauls started, people started, it was because of Mike. I swear to God, Mike had, it was just like, we was kind of, I kind of saw it both. I'm saying that to say this. I kind of saw it both ways. I kind of saw, you know, the racism, but then I kind of saw the shift that started to turn, like where it was like they started to look to black folks for the style and everything else, like big time. Hip hop started to explode. That like the NWA era, that was like my era and stuff like that. So it just kind of sort of changed. But, then I went out, I graduated, went to college. Then after that, I went to Air Force, but I really didn't. I didn't reap the benefits of it. I bolted, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I kind of saw that change starting to come up.
Uh, uh. So you started you yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. I agree. I definitely see the same thing. Um, yeah, yeah. Black became popular. Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. So then you like, fuck it, I'm going to the military.
Yeah. I went to school, and I think, coming from the environment I did, I kind of just wanted to escape, because even though we had moved out, there were still problems. Like, I remember one time, like, my dad burned my mom's car. That Camaro we was talking about.
He lit it on fire.
Yeah, the shine lit it on fire, man. Like, she had him over one night. They started arguing, fighting, and stuff like that. He left. Then I was all wound up. Then I hear something outside the apartment complex. I look out the window. I see this shine getting in my mom's Camaro. Took off. I woke my mom up like, yo, took the car. She called the cops. A couple hours later, yeah, we found your car. It's on fire. Like, what the fuck, man? This dickhead, right? Had to go to court and everything. I was fingering him. I turned like I turned to Kashi that time. I was like, who, Your Honor, who did it? I was just like, maybe point him out and stuff like that. She ended up dropping the charges. He ended up paying the worth of the car so she could get a new one. She was like, my mom was like, I don't want him to go to jail. He go to jail. He go to jail for a long time. I'm like, oh my god. You know what? And that was, I was mad about that. I wanted her to light his ass up for all them years of abuse.
Mm,
Um, but she didn't. And
strong
did she
black
make the
woman.
right call? I don't know.
Mm.
Uh,
That's
because
that's like that's just like Meg. What Meg said.
yeah. So I don't know. I kind of felt um what's the word for it? Betrayed by that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm, mm,
But
mm,
as I grow, as I become an adult, now I know understand what the choices she was facing and why
mm-hmm,
she did what she did. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? Like, as a kid, or I think I might have been 16 or 17 at the time. As a kid, I didn't understand it. Yeah, I just wanted, like, man, throw his ass in jail and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But as an adult, I can see why she made that decision.
Mm. How do you put that into words, right? Like making that decision, because I understand why women make that decision. I don't know how to put that into words though.
Um,
Like what is that? Like what is the it's a difficult one, right? Like is it like this undying loyalty? Is it anti-statism? Is it like black over everything? Is it this is my child's father? Is it
It might have been child's father. It definitely wasn't black over everything. My mom, she's the furthest thing from a Black Panther. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
Um, not that she was like,
Right, right,
that's a
right, right,
beautiful
right.
woman, but yeah, she's not that on that power tip.
Right.
I maybe loyalty, definitely his son's father, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because you know, while she told me she didn't never left because she didn't feel like she could handle it. You know what I'm saying? And she had a good job. She was a nurse, but she couldn't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that was part of it. It must have been loyalty because she never really had a boyfriend. She never got remarried or got married or anything like that after they separated. And when he died, she was there with him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. I guess you see that in a lot of black community like that. But
He passed away.
yeah, he did. Yeah, he passed away from cancer. Mom's still living.
How long ago?
I think he was 67
Oh wow, so it's a while ago.
or 64.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to do the math again. He was in his mid 60s
Okay.
when he died.
Okay. No, what year though?
Oh, what year?
Yeah.
Fuck, that was like what? Jade is 6, so that's 20. Hold on, let me give him a bearings. Jade is 6, so that was 93. I think. I mean, 2013. So it was probably like 2011. I think
Okay.
2012,
Okay.
2011. I think.
2011. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you. So you were grown by then. You were old.
Yeah. I was grown. You know what I mean. I had bought my house and everything. Um,
So how'd you take that? How'd you take that? Were you like sad? Were you dancing on his grave? Like how was that? Like what was that emotion like?
well, this is what me drove me to like. I had to go to rehab and I stopped drinking and stuff like that. Um, I was kind of mad, because it was cancer, so it was kind of a little drawn
Mm,
out thing.
mm,
And my brother came up here and we had to help him get right and stuff like that. And and what bothered me the most was I like at his funeral I didn't cry. Like
mm,
I don't know what happened. I was cried out beforehand. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Because we knew
mhm.
he was going to die. It was like one of
Right.
those things. And there was litigation. We went to the because he was a Vietnam vet, so he went to the VA, and they didn't they messed up his treatment. Like they should have seen the mass on his lung like a year before. You know what I mean? But they
Mm,
didn't. So we were suing them,
mm,
right? But it happened in Delaware, so we really didn't get too much money. We just got
mm,
like some money. But so we knew, we're talking to Laura, we knew he was going to die, soon. So it was like, let bygones be bygones and like help him in enjoy his last couple days on Earth.
right.
I had long put that. I didn't really have that type of animosity like I guess some people would think I had.
Mm,
Because like I said, there was two sides on that. Why? I'm
mm,
not condoning what he's saying, but
right.
his explanation was like I don't know. Maybe he thought he could beat the alcohol out of somebody, the
Mm,
alcoholism out of something. But you can't.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know
mm.
what the hell you're talking about. Like that was stupid.
Right, right.
But I, on one hand, I had misgivings with the alcoholism and how I was involved in that.
Mm,
On the other hand, so it was like there was it was kind of rough on both ends. You know what I'm saying? But different ways. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Um, So yeah, I wasn't really dancing. I didn't really have any like.
You were much older than too. You basically
Yeah, I
grown
was
man.
older, like when he died, but I
Right.
had I had a couple heart to heart talks with them,
Mhm.
because I was mad. I was like, it didn't have to be this way. because as I got older and I ended up getting relationships and I could see how other people's family was. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Hmm.
why did we grow up like this? Why did I have to? It didn't have to be like that because that affected me for a while, man. I was hurt, about especially when I saw other people. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you got to put you got to put the energy forward. Like we wasn't the Huxtables. You know what I'm saying? It was
Right.
like
Right.
that's why I used to hate the Cosby Show. I'm like, what kind of nigga? Like, what kind of nigga shit was this? This is like this. This ain't the black folks I know, man. I go to
Yeah.
my cousin's house. There's roaches on the floor. There's crack house you know what I'm saying? That's the only reprieve. I had a couple cousins. They was kind of their parents was kind of messed up, but they didn't have as much money. My dad never had money. What I mean, we
Right.
wasn't broke. Like this guy had a Cadillac back. You know how black folks get. You get a little bit of money, you get a Cadillac, right? So,
Absolutely. You couldn't be a
so
black man in that time and not have a Cadillac.
right, right. So like my home was broke. We wasn't broke, basically.
Right. Right. Right.
So only a reprieve I had. Was I had a couple cousins. Their home was broke too, but they was broke. You know what I'm saying? Um, so sometimes I get my chest off with that. With them people, but um,
You still cool with
I,
those cousins now?
yeah. One's messed up. See, this is why I know. A lot of the problems that happen in the community today is due to upbringing and stuff like that, and environment. I mean, one is in and out of rehabs. The other one is in and out of jail. The other one is a chronic drinker. I mean, he can hold a job, but he's a chronic drinker. And that's all stems back to how they were raised. But
Mm-hmm.
I never, like I said, I wasn't I never really had it. I wasn't never mad at my dad for that. Even though I was at the time, I never held it against him like that. I don't know how people do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he wasn't a dick, maybe because he wasn't a dickhead in other ways. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of fair with everything else. But, but I couldn't see it then because I used to hate him like that. He wouldn't, like, when I was talking about baseball games, they wouldn't come. Neither one of them would come.
Mm.
You know, um, like rarely. You know what I'm saying? My
Wow.
mom will kind of come sometimes. When I started playing football and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that was before the super. Like I said, she's not like today is like you got the moms, the super moms. They every kid's practice and stuff like that. It wasn't like
Right.
that. You know what I mean?
Uh.
It was like you get a break from each other. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right. Right. Right.
um, I don't know. It was just I can't call it. It was fucked up, man. But I
Yeah.
guess it made me who I am today.
Yo, that's what I'm hearing. That's exactly what I'm hearing. And what don't kill you make you stronger. Where am I at on the super chats? Hold up. Let me find my place. Um, Natasha, Kayleen, thank you. She said, thanks for sharing your story. John J, big love, Unc. Y'all stay doing this. I'll keep the cash coming. All right. P from round the way. Love this sentimental talk, fellas, but at some point I want to know how Unc got into Pogs. We ain't get to that part of the story yet, yo. Power Gray, $5 super chat. John J. Um, these old heads steady talking about the stock market. Boy, you better invest in the Glock market. John Lemley, what up? He said, good evening. Appreciate you. Chat Ganistan Productions. Your story reflects mine a lot. Thank you. Dem Fries. Need more folks like y'all as a role model. It's inspiring to see people rise above their circumstances and still be true to themselves. I hope to work with y'all when I get my nonprofit started. Reach out. We definitely down to work. Lauren Literally, what up? She said, how has your life changed since having children? We're going to talk about the kids. Fudge Mayo, KKK rally in Westchester in 1991. PA had a capital out there towards Lancaster. Yeah. Oh, shit. I remember the KKK was by me back in
Yo,
my
real
day.
quick, I remember I was when I remember that day when they came out there. Like it was they came out there in it was I think it's Gay Street or Market Street that comes into Westchester. All I remember is like they had the undercover cops on the side. They was shit patting people down because people was trying to get the bricks off, right? I will never forget this day, man. Like it was kind of snow. It was kind of snow on the ground, and they was marching through. I got this snowball. I picked the snowball real quick, and I just threw it like hit this bull right in the head, like bam. I never had a more accurate throw in my life. He was
Wait,
like, yeah.
wait, you hit a white man in a KKK hood?
No,
What,
they didn't have. They didn't have. None of them really had hoods.
but they
They
was just KKK?
yeah. None of them really. I don't think any had the hoods. But it was wild. It was almost
Hold up,
we
hold
almost
up,
tore
hold up, hold
Westchester
up,
down that day, man. I'm telling you, it
hold
was
up,
wild back then.
hold up, hold up. KKK marched through the hood.
March through Westchester. Westchester's like
Westchester.
yeah. We marched
Yeah,
through
little
right
neighbor,
middle of town.
yeah, little neighborhood. They marched right through town. This was a licensed protest, or they popped up
License. It was licensed. Yeah.
licensed protest. Like, yo, we coming to demonstrate, let y'all know we out here.
Yeah.
And you pop one of them crackers in the head with a snowball.
Yeah.
Yo, we need a motherfucking Uncle Hotep monument ASAP. Yo, Black History Month, we are telling the Uncle Hotep snowball story, son. What?
That was real rap. I was there that day.
Nigga, you know how I be telling my grandkids? You know, I smacked that crack upside his head one time with a snowball. Yes, I did. Boy, what?
Yo, they had to get him out of there because they had a little fenced casing where there was march or like where they gathered after the march was over. They hauled ass, man. People was trying to get over there, man, and they ended up locking up one of our bulls, and we marched at the police station. Then they had a whole bunch of state troopers. That's see, Pennsylvania had them big boy state troopers. They like you gotta be 6'1". It's like, but yeah, it was crazy that day. I'll never forget that.
Oh my God. Damn. History. History. Y'all write that one down. Y'all write that one down. Don't forget that is a classic moment in history. I don't got that under my belt. Damn. I would feel so good if I could just tell that story. You know what I'm saying? I might lie and just tell my grandkids your story. Back in the day, they should call me Uncle Hotep. Hotep Tiger, great interview so far. I can see similarities with Unc's mom and my mom. They both have a good heart and loyal as hell. Yeah, I definitely see the similarities. Hotep with it. Alcoholism is a beast. A lot of folks won't understand at 27. I have a different perspective of these spirits than most of my age. Stay with it, family. Word up. Broly McFarden, $50. What up, Brody? Appreciate you. He said, much love for Unc. Such a good soul. Hotep and Bill, fam. Yes, sir. Chad. Chad said, Unc quoting body count lyrics from his own life. Damn. Big hug to the young Unc going through it. Word. Pete from Round the Way said, tell the snowball story anytime a shine on Twitter calls you a coon. You're basically Huey B. Word. Word. I went, yo, couldn't nobody tell me shit. Who you calling a coon? Don't you know in 1945 I hit the KKK upside of the head with a goddamn snowball point? You better fuck out my mentions. What? Dima Zaja, she said, Uncle Hotep, Supermom here, doesn't think it is necessary to show up for every practicing game. Do you show up for all your youngins events? Um, the games I think are more important than practice. Like practice, I think they should be definitely be on their own. Like maybe show up for a practice here and there, maybe. But I think practice they really need to be with the coach and like focused and lace it in and not distracted. But yeah, the games, yeah, my sure you don't make it to every game, but she come to some of the games. Chad Lemoyne, Unc must have been a leader in outfield assists with that arm. Clack that fool in the head. Ken Darrow got to animate that snowball moment. Hotep and Bill, for real. We need the whole anime cartoon with him, like the audio from this. I need somebody to make that happen. Take the audio from this interview with him telling that story and let's animate that shit, yo. We're gonna play that shit every Black History Month and Hotep Day. Are you serious? Hotep Day 913, by the way. Make sure y'all put that on your calendar. Hotep Day 913. All right, cool. So let's move on with the saga, the Uncle Hotep saga. You joined the military.
Yeah.
Now you join the Air Force.
Yeah.
Now not every nigga could get into the Air Force. You have to be a notable exception to get into the Air Force.
Uh, I mean, it's more acknowledged that that's like you probably get the smarter
Yeah.
non college graduates, going in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Don't best believe me, there were some shines in the Air Force. I mean, I encountered quite a few shines in the Air Force that was dumb as rocks. Um, I don't know why I chose the Air Force. I don't know. I don't know why I did. I thought maybe the uniforms were cleaner. My dad was telling me the Army you probably get paid a little bit better. Um, I don't know. I know I had to do something.
Mm.
You know, um, I
You was
think what I
18
lacked.
when you went?
Say again?
You was 18 when you went?
No, I think I was 1920.
Okay. So it was like maybe a gap year after high school.
Yeah, yeah.
So what were you
Um,
doing in that year? Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
no,
We'll come back.
I went to college for a year.
A community college or
No, I went to Kutztown.
okay.
Um, Drank too much, party too much.
Yeah.
I think all that time of I don't know. I think I had so much of a stressful childhood. I didn't have any guidance. I didn't have any discipline. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Um, like even in school, I could do whatever to get by, but I wasn't. That's not good enough. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? When you get to the next level, so I didn't really have any discipline, and that's why I went into. I came home and I was trying to figure it out. Mom was getting on my nerves. Then one day she threatened me, "You better get it together or get out." And I was like, the next day I was like. I went right down to the recruitment office. I walked my black ass right down the recruitment office and like, sign my ass up. I was going to go to the Marines after high school, but I changed my mind and went to college.
Mm.
So when she said that, I went directly to the Air Force and signed up. I was like, man, I'm out of here. I'm not trying to hear to put it because sometimes in my mind, I think some of the stuff my faults. I don't want to blame her for it, but I'm like, you know, they concocted what they concocted. But I'll never, I'll never regret it. It changed my life forever.
Mm.
You know, I, yo, listen. When I got on that plane and when they dropped down, I caught hell. And this was only the Air Force boot camp, and everybody will acknowledge this. It's probably one of the weaker boot camps. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Right.
hell, but it's still you got to wake up at 5:30 in the morning, do your bed. You got to exercise. You got to, stand up here and repeat all these goddamn phrases. But what it did was it taught me discipline
Uh-huh.
and how to get up every day and go to work. It's like I'll never regret it.
Yeah.
I'll never regret it.
Yeah.
Would I
Yeah.
recommend it to everybody? But no. But that's what I needed. I think growing up in the environment I did, just trying to stay sane. I think some of those things eluded me. I didn't want to listen to them on some of the stuff they said because I'm like, yo, you're beating her ass. You're drinking too much. Like, why am I listening to you? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it taught me discipline. I got to see the world. I was in Germany. I was in Italy. I was in Saudi Arabia, Denmark, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It was some middle European country. We was out there. I'm like, I don't know where the hell we're at. You know what I'm saying? I cannot remember where we was at. It was like for 2 weeks. Like I don't know if it was 2 weeks or a weekend, but it was a pretty cool place.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't want to stay in there. You know what I'm saying? I wish in hindsight, I probably could have did a 20 years and gotten retirement and then maybe figure out another career and I could have been getting paid double. But you are the government slave, you know what I mean? And I figured that out real quick, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
once I felt like I got what I needed, I got out.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. What was that day like? The day you're going to the Air Force, that first day. Would you had to go to like the bus pickup
It,
spot?
no, my dad drove me to the airport, and a recruiter met me down there.
Okay.
All I remember is my mom was.
Commercial?
They fly, and Air Force, the basic trainings in San Antonio, Lackland.
Okay.
Um, I just remember I didn't know what to expect. You know what I mean? Like like I thought it was well, like I don't know. Mentally I wasn't really there. I was just like, man, the day's here. You know what I'm saying? My mom would start crying, and she was like, "Oh, my dad, don't start crying." I'm like, I was crying like, oh, I was like, what are you crying for? But when I got there, I was like, Mom, I'm homesick. Yo,
Mama
I'm
wanna
telling you.
go home.
But she told me you gotta stick with it. You can make it. You can do it. And I did. And
How
it
many
was
we
rough.
how many weeks was it before you broke? It was like,
I
Mama,
think
I want to come home.
before I called, I don't know. Must have been like 4 or 5 weeks, third or
Okay.
fourth week. Then it was
Okay.
just like I remember days where they give you all the chores, like you had to clean up and everything, and then it'd be like 9 o'clock, and you finally hit the bed. I remember a time I hit the bed, and the next thing it's like that. The next thing you wake up, you hear the lights come on. They're like, I'm like, oh my god, it's 5 o'clock already. I'm like, they would work you to death. Boy, you be tired as hell. You got a new type of energy up there. Um, but
Uh-uh.
yeah, it was just that day going there was just like it was crazy because then I didn't understand like when you meet the drill people at the airport when they processing you and shit like that. They say, I think you say Sergeant such and such, Airman Handy reports is ordered. You know what I mean? But you're supposed to say that once, right? And then
Uh-huh.
answer the question. I kept saying it like I misunderstood it. I guess I got some autism. I kept saying it after every time they asked me a question. That motherfucker said, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Pick up your bags, go wait there for the bus, and take your ass home." I swore I thought I was getting kicked out the same day. I picked my bag up and start waiting for the bus. I'm like, it's over already. I thought I got kicked out, right?
They got fired on his day off.
Yeah, I swear I got fired like the first. I didn't even think I made it to boot camp, but then it was like, but that's when they're just busting your balls and they tell you get back in line and shit like that.
Okay.
And I figured it out. I mean, it was cool.
Yeah.
I don't really have any
So,
friends I met from there lifelong. I follow a couple people on Facebook, but it was a good experience. I wouldn't trade it for a world. I remember I think finally in my Air Force days, I might have should have stayed in there a little bit longer and seen the rest of the world, but I got
how
out when
long
I
were you
got
there?
out. I think I did 3.5 years, and I got out early because I did the rest of my time in the reserves.
Okay.
So went home and I started going to reserve unit up in Willow Grove.
Uh,
That was
got
some
out.
bullshit. The reserves is a whole nother story, man. That's the good old boys, and they're all cops, and you don't know what they be talking greasy. Like if you get, they're all cops. This is back in them days, you know what I'm saying?
Uh,
So there was only
uh.
like five of us black reservists. We all sat at the same table. All the rest of them were cops. And I used to hear some of them cop stories, and I'm like, matter of fact, a Jersey cop, a Jersey state trooper.
Uh-huh.
Like it was one time, I'll never forget it. He was telling the front end he didn't care anybody heard. You know, I guess a Jersey trooper was chasing a guy. And he ended up crashing and killing him.
Mm.
They caught up with the guy who was the cause of it. They said, "Oh, we made sure he was dead before the ambulance came." Dead ass. I'll never forget it.
Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's how they get down out here, yo. Yeah, yeah. I grew up in Jersey. That sound about right. State trooper?
Yeah, state boy.
Oh yeah, them stadies. Oh no, you don't want to fuck with them stadies. Oh no, you get pulled over by a stady. Oh yeah, you might want to just go live and just start screaming Black Lives Matter, nigga. Oh man. Um, hold on, let me check the opinionated junkie. What up? He said Southern Nation in the building. Oh yes, Pam S 499. Appreciate you. He said Hotep with it said uh What you foul stuff know about Fort Hood?
I never been to Fort Hood.
What's Fort Hood? That's another fort, or is
I
that a
think it's an
nickname?
army base, but I
Army
only
base.
been. It was Lackland Air Force, Lackland Air Force Base in Texas,
Mm. He said a lot of folk from high school saying it was wicked down there. Was it bad when you
and I've
were
been
in
to
boot?
Fort Dix in New Jersey.
Okay. Where was it bad for you in boot camp?
Was it a bathroom?
No, was it bad for you? Was it like was boot camp hard?
Not physically, no, but it's mentally tiring. Because you got to do a lot of stuff, in a certain amount of time. They work you to death. Um, but it wasn't really hard. It was mentally more tough than physically.
What do you mean like work you to death? Like what was you doing?
Say again.
Yeah, like what like when you say working you mentally, like what are you doing? Like what did they have you doing?
Um, you got to learn all the moves. You got to learn reveille. You got to learn how to march. You got to learn how to shine your shoes. How to press your uniform.
Uh
You gotta they test you. You know what I mean? You gotta learn stuff, and they give you tests. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
mm,
pass tests. We had jokers fail. I'm like,
mm.
we had jokers fail tests. Um, so yeah, that was the first part of the physical attitude. Like the Air Force standards weren't really up to par with the other.
And you was an athlete in high school anyway, so
Yeah, I was fine with that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like once I got my wind, then I stayed there for my job training. So I was in Lackland for like 4 or 5 months, man. So it was
I heard you train you went to sniper school, right?
no, man. My goal was to be a police officer, to be honest.
Okay.
And I went to it was security forces, but law enforcement security force. That's what the training was.
Mm.
So that was my job at the Air Force. But as far as Air Force is concerned, yeah, we shot more guns than the majority of Air Force members and stuff like that.
Dope, dope. Um so all right. So 3 years in the Navy, you like, I mean, in the Air Force, and you like, fuck that. I'm done with this white man's army. I'm gonna go out here. And then, what's your first gig out, like professionally?
I had some bullshit ass security job I did
Okay,
for
through
like
security, right, right.
8 months. I don't know how long they fired me. I was sleeping on the job, whatever. Like, then I applied for the job at the jail, and I got it. You know what I mean? You get 5 extra points on the job in Delaware. I applied for job at the jail, and I was still thinking I'm on my way to be a police officer. So I was like, well, let me get the job in the jail. That may be a step forward to being a cop. I kind of wanted to be a cop, but this goes back to my childhood because I wanted to stop, domestic violence. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to, there were so many times I called the cops. Like, I don't understand. It was so much different back then. Like, you call the cops now, they lock your ass up. It was like, you hit who? What? Oh, go to jail. But back then it was like you might get smacked in front of the cops. They ain't taking you.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
um, so I kind of felt that way, but I don't know, that was kind of misgivings. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Anyway, I get a job at the jail. I started working at the jail. I worked at the jail for 3 years in Wilmington, Delaware, Gander Hill Prison.
What was that like?
That's another job. I'll never forget that. And I'm glad I did it. There was like I'm glad I quit, but I'm glad I did it in the first place. Um, Working in jail is like it's a different kind of grind. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, that your coworkers are worse than your the inmates sometimes. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? There's a lot of pettiness and cattiness, you know, um, especially
Politics.
a lot of politics down there too. Um, it, but it kind of helped because I wasn't from the town. I didn't grow up in Delaware. I hardly knew anybody. Shouts out to Nerd. I didn't know anybody in Delaware. except for like my one bull. But I didn't know all these people.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in Wilmington know each other. Everybody in Delaware know each other. I didn't know none of them jokers, you know. So I was talking bad shit to these. I mean, I was just like, "Man, get your ass in jail." I used to have fun with it. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I kind of felt like I could do more, you
Mm.
know. And the only really thing that made me switch, like stop, was like because you can make decent money because there's always overtime in the jail, right? Yeah, people making like I don't know back then 60, $70,000 a year, you know, working in a jail. I'm like, you know, you can make some decent money out there back then,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but you had to do for Delaware. Your pension was at 30 years, so you had to do
Mm.
30.
Mm.
I'm like, nobody's making it in a jail for 30 years.
Mm.
I seen the people that end up working 30 years in a jail. The nerves get them. They walk in the halls and their faces all messed up. They drink it. Like you had one guy with just alcohol. His skin is all, you know, you turn that pink color because they had to deal with the stress. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so I was like, man, I got to get out of here, man. I got to do something. I can, because all you had to do was count to 60. There were 60 inmates on the tier. If you can count to 60 and had a heart, you could
Mm.
work at a jail. And I'm like, man, I know I'm smarter than this. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It was like, I don't know, man. If it was like 20-year retirement, I might have stayed. You know,
Yeah.
it was kind of low end for the pay too, but you know,
Yeah.
you stay there long enough, you know, them good jokers work overtime, they be killing it. You know, some people are
Right.
making damn near uh 90, 100. You know what I'm saying? They've been there a while.
Right.
Um, but and you know, I just seen last year they had a riot down in Smyrna, and one CO got killed.
The same one you worked in?
Nah, it was the one
Oh,
down. It
okay.
was the one down
Smyrna,
Middleton. Yeah,
Smyrna, Delaware.
yeah.
Uh.
So it, you know, I got one fight down there. His inmate man was talking shit all to me all the time, and he did one of them head bumps, and he bumped me right, and I was tired of it. I swung on him. I put a knot right in the middle of his forehead, man. And you know this bitch ass did, man. I don't know if I ever told this story, man. Like, so he was talking all this killer shit, and he was gonna kill me for months, man, and shit. Like, I'll
Mm.
beat your ass, you know, handy you bitch ass nigga. You know, he's bidding on me, you know what I mean? But trying to get the pass the time off. But I was like, man, shut the hell up, man. Like, and then when he got in my face one day and he bumped me, so I swung on him, man. I was ready to go.
Mm.
He ain't swing back. We was tussling. I was trying to tag him, man. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, inmates broke it up. So I go back in the bubble. I thought it was like, well, we just shot the fair one. Fuck it, man. You know, we don't got to call the code or nothing. There was a CO in the bubble. He should have called the code. He should have been like, code one. And, you know, and the boys would come down and beat his ass. But
Yeah.
he didn't call the code. He was just shocked. Like, I'm like, you got nutted up. Anyway, I go back in the bubble. This Joker, the dude I fought, the inmate I fought, after all that killer shit he was talking, man, hours later, he fall out. The nurse comes. Nurse comes at like 8 o'clock every night, right? Right before the nurse comes, he go lay down in the middle of the damn dorm, and they're like, "Nurse, I need to see you." And what's wrong? I need to go to infirmary. CO Handy assaulted me. I'm like, oh, this bullshit. Now all this after all this killer talk, we throw hands, and now it's like, oh, CO Handy assaulted me.
Uh.
I was like, you bitch ass motherfucker, man. I had to take statements and all this shit, but you know, they signed it. They made him sign. He was shine. He was a shine. He just did that trying to get out early, trying to get it. You know what I mean? Even people
Yeah.
try to do anything to get out of this sentence, man. It was
Yeah.
like, man, they made him sign something you will take no further action. It was a squash, but yeah, that's the type of time that you know was on. That was the most physical thing I think I got into when I was working in jail.
Yeah, he was plotting that shit. He like, yeah, you know, I need
Yeah,
to
man, it was.
how I'm gonna lessen my time. If I can get this nigga to clock me upside my head, that nigga's trying to grift his way to the infirmary.
He damn sure was, man.
Damn, that's wild. So, what is it mentally about the prison that just makes it like some people just so stressed like that?
Uh, it's dealing with inmates, dealing with your coworkers. It's like you go to jail for 8 hours a day too. You know what I mean? You can't talk to nobody. You watching these inmates. You know, some of them smell, some of them funky. You deal with some of them just dirt balls. You know, in real life. Um, you know, people that pedophiles. There was this one famous case where Anne Marie Fahey, the guy who killed Anne Marie Fahey, he was this big shot Delaware lawyer. He killed his secretary. I think he put her chopped her up, put her in a cooler, and threw her out in the ocean. He was in there. Um,
Mm.
but it's just that daily grind, And then if you want to make money, you got to work overtime, but you got to do a double shift. So you sometimes people were in there for 16 hours and shit like that.
Ooh.
Um,
Mm.
and it's the inmates. You got to watch them inmates. Sometimes they fight each other and stuff like that. It wasn't wall to wall violence and shit like that, like you see on TV and shit like that. Um, I don't think I remember seeing too many people leaking. They had a couple of people. They made a couple of people leak. I ain't gonna lie. But it's basically the pettiness, and it depends how you deal with inmates. Like, so if you have to yell and scream and stuff like that to get their point across, day after day after day, you know, it wears on you. It
Mm-hmm.
really does.
And then what about like your coworkers, right? Like, are they racist? Because this is Joe Biden's territory we talking about now.
Well, the majority of people that worked there were black. It
Oh,
was
okay.
like, I don't know the majority, but it was high. It's higher. It was higher than the population.
So they had niggas locked up with niggas watching them.
Yeah, but that's
Damn.
another thing that when you put niggas in charge, sometimes the pettiness comes out, man. Like, oh,
Uh,
come on, man. I don't know I don't know how to make out this, man. Sometimes it's just like, man, get the white man out of here.
Somebody call the white man. Y'all here tripping.
No, but you know, I just took it like I didn't care what color. Man, sometimes I would be harder on the black inmates because I'm like, man, y'all should know better. Y'all shouldn't even be in here. Why y'all fell for the trap?
Mm,
You know, but it seemed like there was some white COs that took care of the white inmates. There was some
right.
black COs that took care of the black inmates. I try to keep, like I said, I might give the brother a harder time, but I really wasn't in there to do nobody any favors. And plus, I wasn't from Delaware. Like a lot of those COs, they knew a lot of these people, man. They went to school with them. They
Right.
was their cousins and shit like that. It was all nut shit. You
Mm,
know, I remember there was this one CO, and I think he had like a mail order bride. Like the CO culture is crazy. It's like it's weirdo stuff, man. It's like matter of fact, if one of the true things of Orange is the New Black, I don't know if people have seen it, but how the COs are, that's pretty much an accurate description. You know what I mean?
mm,
Like it's like another culture. You know what I'm saying? You don't really get recognized for anything, but you're part of the law enforcement community, but you're really not. You know what I'm saying? Only
mm,
inside them walls.
mm.
You know, it's real cliquish and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, you had some of the black COs would try to give favors. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It was just eye opening. Delaware isn't that. There's not that many blacks in Delaware, but
Mm.
you look inside Gander Hill, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit, man? I'm like, it was wall to wall shines in there. I'm like, how is this even possible? I couldn't
Mm,
believe it.
mm.
I'm telling you, it would be an eye opener because if you look at the demographic of Delaware,
Right.
you're like, where did all these black people come from? You go look inside the jail, they all in jail, man. Like, so it was like,
Dang.
I don't know, man. It was an eye opener about America. And that's why I'm glad I went there because you saw what America's about. They're trying to keep that money train going, grind people through the courts. I heard a whole bunch of stories. I learned about the shine. You know what I'm saying? I seen because like sometimes in some tiers you could you could buzz into the inmate cell, but you
Mm,
also could listen to them talk shit. You know what I mean? The whole night.
mm,
And some of these people just they can't stop selling cocaine. They can't stop riding them rims. I'm like, come on, man. Like, what? You had plenty of opportunity to get out the game, man. And then,
Yeah.
listen, them jokers down Delaware was getting that money, man. I'm telling you, they was getting that money for real out there.
Mm,
But I seen people like, people star athletes. Boy said he had a scholarship to North Carolina, blew it. He in
mm,
jail. I see a lot of stuff in Delaware, man.
Scholarship, ready to go. He caught up in the streets.
Yeah.
Another victim of Joe Biden. God damn. Hold on, let me check out these chats. Let me make sure we good. Uncle professional shinologist, Patriot J. Fudge Mail, my wife said they had those scorpions out there. Yeah, man, that jail life I know is just that's gotta be yeah, like you said, like everybody's locked up, right?
Yeah.
And so that's gotta be tolling on you. So then after that, like what do you do? Like
Well, I got tired of doing it, this was like right before the 2K, remember the 2K fucking era, like
Y2K?
yeah,
Yeah,
Y2K.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I got tired of counting inmates. I was like, man, I got to do something better in my life, So I went to computer school. I went to Chubb. It had like I think it was 5 6 month program. So I switched to swing shift at the jail. So I would go to school in the morning, computer school in the morning, and then go to work at the jail at night. You know what I'm saying? I did that until I finished the Chubb. Um, then I searched for jobs, and it was kind of hard because I kind of missed that. I was slow to get that real money because they was just giving away money before. You know what I mean? Then it
Mm-hmm.
slowed up, so I missed that gravy train right in the beginning.
Mm,
So I ended up taking a lower entry level job loading computer tapes, man.
mm,
And I pulled it. It sucked. I had to take a step back financial wise and stuff like that. But I end up ahead, and I've been in the industry ever since, in the IT industry ever since. You know, so yeah, that's the only reason I went into
yeah.
computer work is because I felt like I couldn't last 30 years in working in the corrections, and
Mm,
I felt like I could do more than count than 60, man. That's all you had
mm,
to do, work at the jail.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. So you Chubb Institute didn't do right by you. They couldn't get you a job. They couldn't like you said, you just missed that train.
I kind of missed that train, and then it was kind of over. I guess oversaturated because this is when everybody started going into computer
Yeah.
field. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All them
Mm-hmm.
certs and stuff like that came out.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I think, Chubb had a class action lawsuit because people were saying they promised them jobs, they couldn't get any jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to put in. It takes luck, and like you said, I see. I took a chance and went down. You know what I mean? I went down. I worked at loading tapes for a while. Then they promoted me.
Mm-hmm.
They promoted me. I worked there for a little bit. Then I was still sending my resumes out. So I got what I. It took me about, I want to say, a year and a half to get like a job I thought I was going to get when I got out straight out of Chubb. I got a service help desk job, and
Mm-hmm.
I was on the help desk for 10 years.
Mm.
Um, but
Yeah, when you get land that help desk job, that's like you like I'm in there, right? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it was cool. You know, that's another thing I experienced a lot of racism from. I don't want to cry about it, but it's funny. Like I was black on the service desk and stuff like that. And I noticed a lot of people wouldn't. They didn't want. Some people don't want my help. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Some people only talk to me when that I could help them. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't really. But see, I see people make threads about stuff I've been through.
Right.
Like they make talking points, think pieces about stuff I went through. I'm like, I don't really care. Like, what I mean? Like, if I had to unlock people's accounts, and then I see them in the hallway, they be like, like, they broke out my face, man. Like, I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it didn't really bother me. Like because I
Hmm.
grew up like I said, if I take a like all things considered, I grew up facing that abuse before. So this kind of passive stuff is like, man,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah, that's
I
a
grew
piece of
around these
cake.
white folks in Exton, man. This is a piece of cake. Y'all ain't I had to fight them white boys out there, man. I'm like, I ain't worry about y'all. But I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's just, but like I said, a lot of them they just want to stay ahead of black folks. I think they felt some of them felt threatened. I've seen some people write stuff like that. I'm like, but
That's
I don't understand why because we're not your enemy. You know what I mean? You should be true. You should be rooting for anybody to succeed. I think a lot of them are victims of propaganda, just like people of Mark Lamont Hills and them and shit.
hmm
But it's no big deal.
the thing is, that's what the establishment does well, right? They install this idea of racism within whites, and that idea was, I might be poor, but at least I ain't as poor as a nigga,
Right.
right? So then when you, like you said, your mom's had a new Camaro, right?
Yeah.
So like my parents, black couple, they pop up on the block. They done cop the biggest house on the block. You know what I'm saying? White folks was
Right.
having block parties every year. We popped up that one year. The neighbor across the street was like, we usually have a block party around this time. What happened to that? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I'm not your competition. You know what I
Right.
mean? And the whole time they thought black people was a competition. It was really China.
Right.
That Chinese man whooping your ass, and they seeing that now. See? That the Arab man that came over here and mastered your immigration laws, right? That was like your enemy. So it wasn't us. But yeah, I remember passive aggressive racism. You know, I never made it to the help desk. You made it to the help desk. You know what happened? I had an interview, right?
Right.
In New York City, and I did not get the job. And
Uh-huh.
don't you know, like, I want to say a week or two later, um, was 9/11. And to get
Oh,
to that
okay.
job, I had to pass through the World Trade Center.
Okay.
So, like, it was a good thing I didn't, because I
Yeah.
don't know if I would have been in the World Trade Center or near the World Trade. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so in hindsight, I was like, wow. But when you say you did help desk, I'm like, damn, like I wanted to be help desk, because help desk was like, you didn't make it as a nigga.
Yeah, but you were close. You had the opportunity after you did well, you could move up and do the other stuff. Um,
Yeah.
I liked it though. It's a grind,
Right.
but I tell you what, I was never good talking to people.
Mm.
But after 10 years, I can hold a conversation. This was part of, when after I started making videos and stuff then. But I get for the people that did talk to me, there was, I know I'm talking about the stories of people that don't like, but that's still a small minority. It's not a lot of people that were
Right.
acting that way.
Right.
But it was a few. But the majority of people you could laugh and joke with, and I got to learn
Right.
how to talk to people. And like, you work at that job, you gotta like, you gotta be friendly with people. You gotta understand them. You gotta talk them through stuff. And that was one of my shortcomings. And I think I worked at it long enough that it became a plus in my feather. I could feather my cap. I could talk to people easier. I made lots of friends. I knew everybody in the company. No, and like, because everybody had to call to help this at one time or the other.
Mm.
This was when computing was still kind of new, when they had the big ass monitors and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I got to know a lot of people, and I don't know, people respected me. I mean, it was cool. But I liked it. I wouldn't want to do it forever. I got sick and tired of it because I didn't take the direction of the department, but
Mhm.
it was cool. I'm glad I worked there.
Yeah, hell yeah. No, that's great. That's great experience. I just remember. I remember. So like, you said Y2K, right? Like Y2K was that was the tech boom. I remember working with this Asian dude in the IT department at L'Oreal, and he came into work with like this tricked out Honda. I'm like, yo, how'd you get the money for that? He said he bet on eBay in the stock market. That was like my first introduction to niggas like getting paid off the stock market. So I know exactly the time period you talking about because IT was popping.
Yeah,
But
it was.
yeah, help desk was it was the shit, man. It was like at that time, IT to get help desk was like really like the real big in to the industry, man. And you know what it was? It was like it was either that or you was breaking bricks, right? You know, you either worked retail for like, you know, somebody or you was outside working,
Right.
you know, but you became a notable exception and the help desk was like that way. That's dope. So how do you get to be a black Republican? How does that happen? Right? Like, what was your mama was a Republican? Nah.
No, my dad voted Democrat.
Okay.
My mom, pretty sure, voted Democrat too. But my dad, he watched Fox News. You know, I like he was like one of those. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Um, they voted He voted Democrat, but you know, if you just go by what he's saying, you know, he was pretty, I guess, conservative. You know,
Mm.
how did I become Black Republican? I don't even know if I'm Black Republican now. I will say I'm more conservative.
Right.
Um, you know, I got guilted into voting for Obama, like a lot of Black folks did.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
Oh, oh my God. Join at work was oh we can make history. I was like, I don't know about his policies. I don't know about this. You know, well, we gotta make history. I'm like, then my uncle called me. What you gonna do over the election, man? I'm like, what? I was like, Ron Paul, man. He was like, you know, Ron Paul's racist. Oh, that's who I wanted to vote. I wanted to vote for Ron Paul.
Yeah.
Um, so after the Obama years, I'm like, but you know, I have to understand. I went through the Bush years. I
Mm.
was like, what the fuck is with this Bush shit? Like, I was really perturbed about, you know, the Iraq War, the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
That's
that was a miscarriage of justice. War crime should have been handed out. I was disgusted by that.
mm-hmm.
Um, so, you know, that made it a little bit easier for the Obama, but you know, I was like, after the Obama years, I was like, man, that dude was a fraud, man. He didn't really do nothing for nobody. You know, I didn't really. I could see why he got away with stuff because you know he was a good communicator. He could talk. You know what I'm saying? But
Right. Right.
I wasn't really into politics like I was, you know, with this coming one. Now Trump came in with, you know, he laid out with everything he initially wanted to do. Stop the foreign wars. He came out and said the Iraq War was a mistake, and I was like finally somebody said that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like,
Mm.
why is nobody saying that? You know,
Mm.
like that was a fraud. I mean, we should like. I still don't understand how we were getting by that. You know, I know they can't go back on it because they will expose how you know mainstream media pushed it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, Trump talk. It took about Trump talking about that. You know, and everything else, immigration. You know, I was like, we're losing the battle. You know, Black America. You know, I don't know why people call me coon or whatever, but I base my politics off, you know, black folks. You know, I'm not. I did. We got to control immigration because they're going to take your jobs. You know, you add more workforce into it, it's going to make everything cheaper. They're going to take your
Yeah.
job, you're going to work for less. You take your pick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot of black folks don't see it that way. I'm like, and on top of that, like you're inviting job competition for your children. Now your
Mm.
children are going to have to fight even extra hard. You know, um, so that's why. I mean, I guess that's how I came. You know, I jumped on the Trump train early. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think I made a video why I'm voting for Donald Trump. I'm voting for Donald Trump. I made it early. I had the red hat on too. I swear I was one of the first, if not the first, that you know put them
Before grifting was grifting.
before grifting was grifting. You know, and I think Cernovich, I don't know how he spotted us out and put me in what his
Documentary.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah, movie or something like that, right?
yeah.
And you was the only nigga. You
No,
was the
there
only
was.
nigga. You was the only nigga with a MAGA hat.
Hold on, man. I think, and I didn't really get like I drove down to New York and we sat outside and did an interview. He didn't end up using it because it was too much sound, so I had to record something in my car and I sent it to him. Um, but yeah, started getting me a whole bunch of followers. Um, but yeah, that's how I just felt that Trump. I decided to take a chance on Trump.
Mm.
I don't regret
Hmm.
that. I wouldn't. Hillary would have been the same old, same old. I think Trump. I think he tried to do what
Mm.
he said. Now I know that like some things on foreign policy aren't for negotiation. It don't matter what president's going to be in there. Um, but I think he tried. But he got blocked. I think we should have expected. A lot of this stuff got
Oh,
blocked.
of course.
And some of this that two party, one party is essentially true.
Mm.
But I think you're going to have some outliers. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't mind Trump, but they don't really want him in there. A lot of them don't want him in there. Um, but we'll see. But
Hmm.
I guess that's how I fell into the
Hmm.
Republican. He Cerno started retweeting me. Started getting a whole bunch of followers. I remember I used to work on my Twitter account all the time. I couldn't gain no followers. He were too. I see all these people following me. I'm like, oh shit, man. I'm like, oh man. I started getting scared, man. I was just like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on? Because now you got once you tweet something, you have a whole bunch of eyes on your shit like that. I wasn't
Yeah.
used to that. I used to always just trying to troll people to get on, but then after that, then it started fucking with you. It was off to the races and shit.
So when did I come? Because you got glued into Third Eye Jedi. I remember you was like one of the first people with a Third Eye Jedi hoodie.
Yeah, yeah.
That was my. How'd you run into my channel, my situation?
I don't know, man. You was talking crazy, man. You was talking crazy. I don't know how. It was just like I don't know. You was just going wild. Was this because this was starting? The Sean King thing.
Mhm.
Um, Black Lives Matter killed Sandra
Bland.
Bland.
I
That
remember
was a
that
big
video.
one too.
Right.
You know. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
use like there's alternate reality, and the mainstream blacks can't see it, and I think we can see it.
Mm.
For whatever reason, we can see. That's who I wanted to follow on Twitter. So that's why I started following you. You know,
Mm.
um, I know what the mainstream positions are. I want to, but imagine how old the human race is, and you were talking esoteric type shit, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I was trying to expand my knowledge, and that's why I follow all groups, types of people. But I was trying to get into that wave, you know what I mean? And then, but then um
The
that
election.
was when the black feminists started attacking us, then we formed
Oh
up.
yeah. Yeah, we had a whole war with them. What's name was on your head. Feminista Jones was on your head. What was it? Jamila Lemieux. I used to
It
go
was
at it with one of them.
that big the big girl. She's still around
Oh,
now. I forget her name.
oh. I know you're talking about. Yeah. It's coming back to me. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it was a big girl.
Yeah, because
Right.
it was you, her, Shar, and Doctor. What's the brother's name?
Umar?
No, not Umar. He's Africa. Doctor Carr.
Oh,
Remember
Dr.
that?
Carr. Yeah, 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 yeah. Dr. Carr. Right, right, right. Oh, that big woman. Okay, yeah, she's a yeah, right, 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 right. Yeah.
Because remember
Hmm.
you you was like she went off about the period thing, right?
Yeah.
But Dr. Carr was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he fact checked because he was like, well, I remember because he brought up somebody old head that said the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that was like, you know, there's more knowledge out there and they're keeping it from us, and I
Right.
think you represented that back then, even though you was going off on people and going wild, but you represented this was before Hotep. This was when Yada first started coming on the scene, like
Uh-huh.
Dr. Sebi. I wanted to learn about that. That's really why, because you used to tweet about Sebi, um, Dr. What's the
Layla
guy that
Africa.
no, the guy the doctor used to debate those other kids.
Clark.
Henry Clark, yeah. Him
Yeah.
used to bring up him,
Yeah.
um,
Dr. Ben.
Cressler, Welsing. I
Dr.
learned a
Wells.
lot of them people. I never knew any. Like I never heard of Clark before you start tweeting about him.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I never heard about him. Like
Mm.
I was like for real. So then I was doing my research and shit like that, following you. And some of the stuff you retweeted, I would go research. I was listening to whole like back then, like when YouTube had all that stuff up. I was listening to all that shit every day, like Henry Clark speeches, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, Farrakhan. You know what I mean? That's the stuff I was just beating. Like it helped us. You was like sometimes you don't have nothing to do. I just like press play. I'll be in there, answering questions, listening to the black supremacy.
So when did you come into? Is that when you came into Khalid Muhammad, or did you know about Khalid when he was popping?
Nah, I knew about Khalid before that, but some of the um I don't want to say supporting cast. Some of the minor players in that that new Hotep phase, like that what's that light skinned brother's name?
Seti, General Seti,
No, no, I'm talking about um before him.
Dr. Valentine.
Yeah, Valentine, like cats like that. I never heard of Valentine. I never heard of Clark.
Okay,
I did listen to Dr. Khalid Muhammad before previously.
okay.
But the other people like and Cress Wilson, I never heard of her before I came online either.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. So I remember you telling me this is like the thing that had solidified Hotep, right? Was you told me, you said, I think you tweeted it out, right? And I think you were like, yo, back in the day, it was like Hotep's versus the black liberal, or I guess, or the shine, right?
Yeah.
And that was the thing that had me like, oh shit, like this is a thing, like this happened before, like there's some history here, right? And I
Right.
didn't know about that history. Can you talk about that history?
Well, basically, it was like Hotez it was strong, man. Before and I think the culture was leaning that way. When X Clan and Brand Nubians came out, it was kind of leaning that way. And then you had Dr. Khalid Muhammad. He would go to war with them jokers. You know what I'm saying? I think there's still one on. I think a reporter. There was a radio interview with a reporter. He was digging in their ass. You know what I mean? But that happened before. But see, the man was like, "Oh, we got to stop this." But he stopped it at the music level, and it just
Trickled
descended
down.
down to everything else. They won the battle with a gangster rap and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, there was like a Hotep movement before, because I remember Cats was rocking, the wooden medallions and stuff like that. This was back in '90s, 89, 90. But it didn't last long, you couldn't hold it. Um, I don't know if it's something we don't trust ourselves or we don't trust, it was just, they started paying them black liberals money, man. They just started running down on it. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think, to be honest, I think black. community knew it would be a harder road that way, you know. And I think some people weren't up to the task. Um, and I think they just won the propaganda war. I think that's just basically what happened. And what was it, Living Color? I think that hurt too. You know, a lot of
Really?
people look at it and say it's funny and shit like that, but that was low key. They were smacking us in the face with our own people. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
Um, like
yeah.
when they made fun of the guys talking that woke shit in the jail and shit like that. You know, when the general public sees it, then when you hear somebody say that, oh, like, oh, you trying to be like them jokers, movies is a powerful medium,
Yeah.
and I think that's what killed that Hotep movement. The Hotep movement back in the 80s and 90s killed that was Hollywood.
It goes Une guave mi se chise une guave.
Say again.
Une guave mi se chise une guave.
What the fuck is that?
That's what they used to say on The Living Color. The dude in
Oh.
jail, he used to say that was his. I think that was his name. But he used to say, "Yeah, call me right now. My name is Une Guave. Me say cheese. Une
Oh,
Guave."
okay. Okay.
Right? Like because we used to talk in like other languages in the Hotep community.
Okay.
But that's what he's just like. So you saying that, and it's like I have that memorized. I was a child then. And I have that dude in my head saying that phrase, and it's memorized. You're right. Hollywood does a number on us, man. And he was like the cliche Hotep on the show.
Right. Yeah, and also I think that because that's when Farrakhan was strong. You have to remember Farrakhan was able to get 1 million black folks to march on Washington. That was what year was that? That was mid 90s,
93?
94 or something like that.
Let me see.
That was in the 90s. I think that's they Farrakhan had a little bit of power back then. I think they wanted to rein that in a little bit.
Yeah. 95.
95. Okay.
Yeah, 95. I remember that. My daddy told me, I asked daddy, I said, we going? He like, nah, we ain't going. I'm like, am I going to school? He like, nah, you ain't going to school either. It's like, all right. So it was like he had that balance, you know what I mean? And it
Right.
was like, so I watched it on TV. I watched Farrakhan on TV. My dad
Right.
used to play like Farrakhan tapes and shit in the background. Like, he used to hand me the final call, like, look at this, and then snatch it away from me and shit like that. He used to like, my dad was low key Hotep, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's lucky. My dad he never listened to any of that. I
uh,
understand it, but he would have some Rudy Ray Moore fucking albums underneath.
who the fuck
If
is
you
Rudy
ever
Ray Moore?
you never seen Rudy? Oh my god.
Let me look it up right now.
Rudy Ray Moore was the original rapper. You know, but he would rap
Oh,
it would be like sex explicit albums and covers and stuff like that.
yeah.
But he was not into any of that. I wish he was, because I would have
Okay.
been a different person. But yeah, he was into Rudy Ray Moore. Matter of fact, Netflix I think has Eddie Murphy played a biopic, Rudy Ray Moore.
Dolomite.
Dolomite, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I saw that movie. You talking about with Eddie Murphy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dolomite was the man back in the day, yo. Um, okay, I got you. See, Pops was into that. Right, right. Yeah, so then you run into are you hearing this stuff in the 80s? Like, is there a Farrakhan influence amongst the blacks
Uh, Not from where I'm from. No.
or it's just like
The
huh?
only reason I heard, I had a couple cousins that went in the Bing. They come
Right.
home Muslim. They went back in them days. You go in, you come out, got a new name, everything. So I learned a little bit from them. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I never really had that. I discovered that all on my own. You know,
Right. Right,
I ne-
right,
I
right.
didn't never had anyone influence me on that type of black culture.
Yeah, I used to have my cousin. Steve, no, not Steve, not my cousin Steve, my cousin Derek. He was into conspiracy theories. He's talking about the Koch brothers and shit like that. But he was out there, you know what I'm saying? So, but all right, so what was the politics like amongst the blacks in that time period, right? Because they're going about these problems different ways, right?
Yeah. I don't know. As the tail part of the Reagan era, um, my dad was doing all right during the Reagan era.
Mm.
Um, then Clinton came around, and it seemed like everybody liked him.
Mhm.
I guess because he was out there. I always thought because he was cheating, just like the rest of you shines, cheating on your old lady and shit. So it seemed like everybody loved Clinton and shit like that. Um, I don't
Clinton
know,
era was kind of cool though.
huh?
If I remember correctly, the Clinton era was kind of cool though, right?
Yeah, everybody liked. I mean, it seemed like everybody liked Clinton. Like the whole impeachment thing, and people swear he did it something a lot for black people. I remember people they was quoting it. Oh, we Bill Clinton did a lot for black people. I'm like, all right, man, all right, chill, you know what I mean? In the barbershops and shit like that. Oh my god! But yeah, I wasn't really. Other than that, I really didn't pay attention to politics. I don't think it was like it is today.
So
I don't.
why did you say that it was like that back then, right? Like it was Hoteps versus these people. Like where did you see that? What pocket?
I Where did I see that?
Was it high school? Was it college? Was it in
I see it a little bit in high school. But
Mhm.
that's I did have a little bit of influence. There was a couple of brothers that I looked up to, that was into Malcolm and stuff like that. But it was basically the turn from when it slowly started turn from Farrakhan in Dr. Khalid Muhammad to these begging ass Negroes, Sharpton and Jesse and shit like that.
uh
They started getting the wave, um, and it just I don't know. It seemed like black folks was scared to be militant. I guess the
mm,
militant black just died out. Like it would seem like overnight,
mm,
and they got us out of there. It was more like a cultural thing, not in the politics. I think.
mm, 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 They shifted the whole culture, right? Damn. All right. So these motherfuckers intercepted the music, and then what kind of we're talking. All right. So the music that comes out is basically like commercial rap, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about commercial rap, and then like who's the popping black leaders then? Yeah, I guess it was Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, right? Into the 90s. Um and then I guess that's when like Diddy and them become like the icons in the black community, right? I'm trying to think like how culturally does the black liberal like take over? And then I think you hinted at it too, like they started paying niggas, right? Like, oh, I can get on TV if I get this right.
Yeah. I mean, I it was definitely the TV thing, and people started getting the money. But I think is we just lost interest in it. You gotta stay on that. Like when Ice Cube shifted, because Ice Cube was on that lane, then he shifted. You know what I'm saying? Like he took a
Mhm.
departure from that. You had to certain public enemy was there. You know, they they started losing interest. KRS One, people we started losing interest in KRS One.
Mm.
Um, I just think we somehow we they made it uncool to be like that. You know, and
Was
once
it
that happens, it's a wrap.
was it like 2015 when the feminist was coming at us?
Yeah, yeah. I never like it was. I never knew they had so much backing. They came out like a bunch of gangbusters. Like I was like, I never knew so many black women were feminists like this. They was talking crazy. Um, that was news to me.
Mm.
You know, I think all them years of single parents and the women holding up the household. I think that took a toll. But they like once I guess it takes once they get into colleges, they can get the courses, they can start the brainwashing. It takes a few years, but yeah, that's how it starts coming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Real talk. Um, John Jay said, "There's not that many blacks in Delaware. You don't know what you talking about." Eli 199 Super Chat. He said, "Unc was sold once. Trump said, build that wall." Yeah, I think a lot of us were right.
Yeah,
But I heard that, I was like, yeah, I'm on board with that. Remember the Root? The Root had that article talking about
right.
how bad immigration was towards the black community, and then they did a complete 180 and was turned against Trump. And I'm like, yo, hold up, 2013. You know what I mean? And then at that time, we was talking about make the Root Hotep again. Because when the Root started out, the Root was Hotep.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then so like I think what white conservatives have to understand is the progression of the theft of black conscious thought from the black community, which is why niggas ain't voting for this. Like the it was almost like the psyop started working before Trump was even ready to run, before like Obama was before it was like they were prepping for Obama to leave office.
Right.
Like they was ready for the next 4 years of this country, it seems like, because of that shift that the whole black, because it seemed like overnight, it was just like we was on Twitter, everything was all good, everybody was having fun. You could say what you want, do what you want. I was getting my Hotep esoteric shit off, and it was like Mike Brown died, and then
Yeah, it was like that.
like that, it just changed, and then I became like Hoteps became public enemy number one, and it was just like, what nigga? And these shots ain't know nothing about no Dr. Henry Clark. You know what I mean? These shots ain't know nothing about no Clark. Like, I'm not even over here saying nothing new.
Right. Right.
I'm repeating the ancestors, and they was killing us. And then they that's when they was calling us Hotep, right? Oh,
Yeah.
you ashy Hoteps, you ashy Hoteps. And then that's how we kind of, took that name on, and you became Uncle Hotep. Eventually I became Hotep Jesus. But that shift happened overnight, man. And I don't think people understand that. Like, I think that contributes greatly to us while we're on the Trump side of things as opposed to the other side of things, right? Because we were politically aligned that way prior to anyway,
Yeah.
right? We were conservative. Like, I didn't know what conservative was, like liberal
Right.
conservative, until like you was like, yeah, I'm a black conservative, and I'm just like, what the fuck is that shit? Right? So now we learning along the way, and you come to find out like what we had were more conservative values, and the niggas started calling us coons and all this shit. But um that shit's just wild, man. That's just wild how I wasn't prepared for it. I'll be honest with you.
No.
Nah, I wasn't prepared for it. It seemed like you were prepared for it. Like I
Well, I used to listen. There's this great black YouTuber, David Carroll, and I listened to like a lot of his stuff. He made a comment one time, like, he's a black conservative, but he was talking about Farrakhan. He was like, man, if you strip away all that racial talk, I'll never forget this. He was, if you strip away all that racial talk, all that white folks talk, Farrakhan is a, a, a conservative. He
uh,
preaches conservative values. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
yeah.
You know, and I think we get wrapped up, but he wraps it. He has to wrap everything up in racial talk because that will always get our
It
attention.
sells.
Yeah, it sells.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of felt like. I listened to, I listened to a lot of Tommy Sotomayor coming up too.
Hmm.
Um, and
Tommy's
like
funny.
this era of stuff, you know, he catches a lot of flack. A lot of us do, a lot of people do, um, just because the language he uses against the women.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of the stuff he says is true. And I think what I kind of get, I was like, man, I have no problem telling people what's wrong about somebody. I was in a relationship with someone, and she was like, you always can point out what's wrong with somebody, and that's the first thing you'll point out with.
Uh-huh.
And that's a fault with mine. But I think the black community needs that because we'll never, we always stifle the voices that will pick out what's wrong with us.
Uh-huh.
We never want to like hear what's wrong with us. We
There's
always
no
want to point,
introspection.
yeah, there is none. It's
Uh-huh.
always, it's white supremacy, it's systematic racism. It can't, like, I know they're putting some obstacles in front of us, but we don't have no business putting obstacles in front of ourselves.
Uh,
And we continue to do that. And that's
uh,
why, that's one of the reasons that I guess I took the angle I took. I was like, man, I can point these shines. I can point this out. Like, and I guess I took it and ran with it. I don't know. I just think that's the way you can get better. Because if you can't tell yourself what's wrong, you're never going to get right.
uh-huh.
And I think that's why, the left keeps preaching this victimization because, you'll never get anywhere with this victimization unless they want you to,
Uh,
and then you see how long they're stringing it out. You know what I'm saying?
uh-huh.
I don't know. Maybe that's why I seem I hit the ground running with that.
How different is conservatism from 2016 today than it is conservatism back then?
Say again?
How different is conservatism prior to 2016 to what it is today?
Ugh, I don't know, man. It's a shit show, man. Like today, like it's a popularity contest, big time. They let the
Yeah.
niggas. I mean, I don't mind it because I'd rather. I think we went so far left that just some of these jokers going right is like we're gonna have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Um, but it seems like it's just not about principle anymore. It's about getting your message out there, content. It's the same old rat race on the other side. You know, they're not even. It's almost like they'll cry and moan. They're not. It's not about what they do. It's about what the left is doing. Like, and I get kind of tired of that. I don't think that was the case before. I think they had the left on the ropes back then, and then all of a sudden this shit flipped, and like, the left came back strong after Obama left office. I guess I don't know. I don't think. I think a lot of them are neocons, and a lot of them are rhinos. Um, I'm glad. No, in another case, I'm glad a lot of people got exposed. Trump spared us the Jeb Bush era. It could have been Jeb Bush versus Hillary.
Mm,
Um,
mm, true,
so
true.
I think I'm glad those guys are out of there.
Right.
The people that were really on a take,
Mm,
like Hillary and Jeb. We'll see where we can go with this. But I think it's a different ballgame because Trump isn't really. I wouldn't call him a conservative. You know, I guess he's a New York Democrat. So he's been a Democrat really his whole life, but he can play both sides. He's like he was buying everything. You know what I mean? He knows how to play the game.
mm-hmm.
So I'm glad. No, I don't think he did that bad of a job. Compared to what they're saying out here, but
Right.
I just think it's turned into a popularity contest today.
Yeah. Do you think that well, from where I'm sitting, I think that Trump's base has a lot of control over Trump, right? I think I think he pays attention to the tweets and what people send him and what's popping in conservative Twitter. Like he's got his ear to the conservative streets, and I feel like we waste that power as a people on the right. Right, the fact that he knows we're watching and listening, I mean, or the fact that we know he's watching and listening. Like there's a lot of things we could do. I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunities because there is a popularity contest and the bar has dropped so low. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you ever expect a great black messiah like Candace Owens popping up in conservatism?
Um, it's kind of hard to say because I now you look back, you like you to me it looked like what happened was they saw a whole bunch of black people jump on the wagon that they didn't have any control over. They didn't know
Mm,
they didn't know none of us, you know what I'm saying? So I think the establishment said, "Hey, man, we got to get one of ours in there." You know what I'm saying? And that's was Candace. Like I've said that the whole time. Like
mm,
that Kanye thing, that's BS. I'm sorry. Somebody told Kanye to tweet. I guarantee maybe somebody showed him the video, but that's somebody showing him the video. Like, hey, why don't you tweet about her, help her out and something like that? You know what I mean? Like that was fishy to me. So
mm,
it seemed like to me like they wanted, it was some part of Trump's strategy. He's been playing this thing a long time. You know what I'm saying? I always said that, him doing the wrestling and stuff like that, him doing the TV shows, it was all for him to get in front of people's eyes so one day he can run for president, he can win. He
mm,
wouldn't be a stranger to America. So, when he brought Kanye out there, wherever he brought him out to the tower, that was early.
mm,
I think they needed, all I think they knew that as long as they can put a dent in the black vote and have a sizable amount not vote Democrat, they can win. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
It'll be a walk.
mm,
Democrats need, not only do they need the percentage, but they need the people to come out. That's a different story. They didn't come out with Hillary. So did I expect it, Candace? But I did expect them to somehow control. They was going to control somebody, and
mm,
it happened to be Candace.
a black person? You knew they would have a black person come out?
It's when I to me it's like yeah, because it seemed like it was popular. Remember
Mm.
you like listen, you was at the hold on, don't try to do this. You was at one of them meetings. You was at one of them them black folks with the red hats meetings. Don't try to play it off.
I don't know what you talking about, dude. I don't know what you talking about. I seen you in Cernovich movie with a MAGA hat on.
Yeah, but as soon as it seemed like that was a wave,
Yeah.
I knew they had to do something. They was going to control one, have one in their back pocket. That was easy.
Yeah. It was such an interesting wave to watch. I remember abusing it. I used to abuse that shit. I used to be like, what if I type this shit? And they used to eat that shit up. It was to go viral. I'm like, it's kind of easy to be black and conservative. It's just everything went viral. Yeah, man. But I think the crown would have rested on your shoulders had she not popped up, right? Because it was leaning that way. You was the first nigga in a MAGA hat that Trump retweeted in that video.
Yeah, but I got tired of that shit, man. It was like it was one thing I don't like to do what the crowd does. I don't like to move with the crowd. And
Uh,
as it was like, as soon as every Negro had a MAGA hat on, I was just like, man, I can't do this shit. I did, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, man. As soon as ABL jumped on the wave, man, ABL be biting some waves. I be catching him biting some shit too. Shout
yeah.
out to ABL. But as soon as them jokers started wearing the MAGA hats nonstop, I was like, man, I can't even wear it no more. I'm like, man, I put it away, man. I got the camo one. I was rocking the camo. Then I was just like, man, Then it just got too crazy out here with that stuff. And then I was just like, I was just like, I didn't want to tie myself to that. Um, I fuck with Trump heavy,
Yeah.
but I just didn't want to be. I didn't want to brand myself that. You know what I'm saying? It
Right.
seemed like they tied themselves to that, and I really wasn't about that. I started a YouTube channel. I said this a lot of times. It's to do news and current events, but it's also like I want my daughters to see it when I pass away and stuff like that. Um, I want them to know how I think about certain things. So it's not just I I started videos not just centered around politics, even though I just kind of got wrapped into that. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? And that was I guess I did it for a little bit. And it was easy hustle. You know what I mean? Easy grift. But I didn't want that totally to be me.
Right.
Like when I see ABL do videos and stuff like that, it's totally about that. But to me, I want to talk about other things on my channel and shit like that.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. And I think that's the difference between getting nominated for a Grifty or not being nominated for the Grifter of the Year award. It's like, are you just grifting all the way to the top, or like, what else do you have, plans for your life? Like, what's that legacy? You know what I
Right.
mean? So I totally respect that, man. I totally respect that because I come cut from that same cloth. Martin McNamara, he said, there goes the Farrakhan bag. F Google too said Alex Jones interview Rev Farrakhan was stunning because how ideas were similar. Hotep viewpoint is to question old thinking too dangerous. Yeah, 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 yeah. I tried to I tried to get the Hoteps into the establishment, but them niggas was like, nah, y'all niggas a little too woke. Y'all niggas a little too woke. We ain't having that. Oh, so yeah. So what's gonna happen now with this next election with Trump? Because you said Biden might win. You think?
I mean, I think if they try to cheat it, but I really think they're trying to throw it away. That's why they picked Biden. I think they just want to lose.
Mm,
Uh, if I was in charge of the DNC, you can have 4 more years. You can blame everything on Trump while you gain seats,
mm,
or you can try to win the presidency, and then everything's going to be blamed on you. You know, um, I think they would rather do that, and I don't think Trump has crossed the establishment too bad. Trump makes money for CNN. Trump makes money for MSNBC. Are they willing to throw that away that fast after 4 years? They love money. I would milk it for another four. I'm like, man, screw it, man, another four. You know, get these people riled up. It depends on what's the future of America, because this is kind of. I agree, it could be kind of pivotal. But because these people, I never seen it like. I'm sure it's not Vietnam level of dissent, but it's getting there. I was watching
mm,
some Vietnam documentaries, and they was the underground weathermen. I think they used to bomb people and stuff like that.
mm.
Now we're seeing this guy just runs a hit and then gets murked by the marshals the next day after being on Vice News. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's another thing. Vice News interviewed me for something, and I don't know what the hell that was. Now I'm kind of, they never publicized it. It was like, I don't know, like a video interview. I think they were trying to get me on something, but they never publicized. I never heard back from them. Then I hear,
What?
yeah, this is when I first started getting hot. Now,
Right.
did you see Vice interviewed the shooter, that Portland shooter. And then the next day, they U.S. Marshals popped him.
What?
Vice is probably the feds, man.
Yo, you right. Cause I got interviewed by Vice. This was when I was working for one of them tech companies. I got interviewed by Vice, and now you're reminding me like they never published it. The dude
Right?
told me he was.
They was doing with it. I don't know what they did with it.
Yeah, dude told me he was like, yeah, I took it to the peoples and they said they not gonna run it. I forget what reason it was, but I know I said some super hotep shit, so I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
I probably, breached the boundaries of what you're allowed to say. I don't know. But Damn, yeah, you're right. They did pigeonhole that shit. You reminded me. Yeah, Vice. I think Vice has been a lot different. You can see the switch in their content from where the original Vice to
Yeah,
when the
yeah,
buyout
brother.
came.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Once that buyout came, it was just like, all right, nigga, y'all doing too much investigative journalism. And they
yeah,
took that. They
yeah. But I think if I had to put money on it, I think Trump gets another four. It's going to be close.
mm, mm,
I mean, I think this rioting has put Trump in the lead. Hearing Don Lemon and them go off about the riots, they were like, "Man, this is we've seen the polling; it's not working." I think that you're scaring these white folks out in the middle of suburbs and shit like that. And who are they going to look for as a strong arm? The traditional strong arm in American politics is the Republicans. You
mm.
know, even though Biden will lock your ass up too. Biden locked them Negroes up. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think if the Democrats wanted to win, they would have went another way. I think Kamala was supposed to be the candidate, but
Mm.
she just doesn't have the charisma. She bricked that. Remember the white man took her mic. She bricked that moment, man. She what else? What's her name? Blew it out the water. You know what I'm saying?
Tulsi.
Tulsi. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
mm,
I think that's what I think Kamala was supposed to be the one. You
mm,
know, but I don't think the white man is going to vote for a woman because you're
mm,
basically voting for her if you're
mm,
voting because Biden's not going to last. He doesn't
mm,
look like he's going to last. A lot of people can say just can sit there and see that. You know, how deep is the misogyny in whatever you want to call it? I think American can hire a woman as or elect a woman as president. But I think it has to be one that is more motherly. I think with Hillary and Kamala, they didn't have enough motherly instinct in them, or
mm,
shows it,
mm,
and I think that's why they both failed. Kamala doesn't have any children. Hillary has one, but was like she's seen as ice stone cold bitch, I guess.
mm.
I think that's why people didn't really like her. Women didn't even like her.
Yeah. Tulsi would have been interested. She's straight out of Treadstone. Um, I feel like with Tulsi, they knew she could have won, and they was like, all right, now we hold on, we got to pull that one.
Yeah, I think they cut that shit off, man. They didn't give her any positive press the whole time, man. They tried to they could have got behind her. If the media got behind her, then yeah. But if the media doesn't get behind no candidate, it's over.
Yeah, I think America's ready for a lesbian. You know, um, Bernie would have been good too. I think the left was ready to get behind. Well, I should say the left, like the people, like the youth and the people that are like really behind this Black Lives Matter movement would have got behind Bernie. And you know what they do to Bernie every time. All right.
Yeah, that would. I mean, that should have been 2016. I think.
Mm-hmm.
They robbed him and gave that to Hillary. Um, but I don't think America is ready for socialism yet. It might be like I don't know. What is it?
Mm-hmm.
2020? Maybe 2050, 2040, maybe. They might be trying to go down that path. I think it's just a little too early. They don't. I don't think the propaganda has taken enough hold yet for them to pull that off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a little loud about it too. They like doing stuff in the dark. Like right now, a lot of socialist policies are being pushed and passed underneath our nose, like that pedo bill out in Cali and shit. Um. So yeah, all right. So with Trump winning, or we assume winning, right? Cause I think the big thing here is like they're throwing this election because Trump's good for America. Like everybody's getting paid in Trump's America, right?
Right.
So let's say Trump doesn't win. What does America look like? The grift is over. Like, right? I'm pretty sure for the left and the right, the Griff game over. No,
Uh, I don't
they mo-
know. Yeah, I don't know. Like I wasn't really paying it. I wasn't paying attention as much during the Obama years. I guess you have to look at the Obama years. But there was some
mm,
grifters that came up in the Obama. I think Glenn Beck came up during the Obama years, didn't he?
okay,
He seemed like
okay.
he was a household name back then.
Mm,
Um, gears. Yeah, people have to shift gears. Um, but it depends on how because I don't think there's the Democrats they might preach that leftism, but they might pull a switcheroo on them. You know what I'm saying? They might just try to get their votes, and then private prisons are back and shit like that. You know what I mean? The next thing private prisons are back. I'm investing this time. I don't give a damn.
oh my god.
Let them bring back private prisons. I'm putting some money on there. I'm calling Carl. Let's get some options.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's so fucked up. I'll go to say invested in private prisons. Oh my god. Oh my God, Danielle Aloye. I don't know how to say her name. I'm so sorry I butchered that. $20. She said, appreciate the honest here. Learn so much from you guys, Hotep and Bill. That's love. He said, damn, you gonna invest in the private prisons. Um, so then Biden wins, then we getting Kamala, right?
Were you getting what? Oh, Kamala.
We're gonna
Yeah,
get Kamala. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then we definitely going to jail. What does Trump do if Trump loses?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Right?
They
Pub-
I guess he has to slip into the night. I doubt they'll try to prosecute him for anything. I think them getting him out is good enough. Because they don't really seem to do that to too many presidents, unless they're not. Because he seemed like he's doing everything that the powers that be want him to do. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
As long as he's doing that, then I don't think they're going to get him out of here too much. You know what I'm saying? I think he did his job. You know what I'm saying? Um, and like I don't know. It depends on what the future of America is. Is it going to be a civil war? Is it going to be strife? Is it going to be just march towards socialism? I think he played an important part in that. Like just remember the politics before and look at it now. Um, I think it seemed like he more radicalized the left than the right. You know what I'm saying? As you can
Mhm.
see, Richard Spencer and them they jumping ship. They went with Biden. They was like, man, I'm riding with Biden, man. Like fuck that.
They got
You
goons in the street.
coons in the street, and we got Antifa out here. I never thought I would see Antifa riding around like this, and people's like they shooting jokers, man. Um, I don't know if he will get prosecuted. But I don't know. I kind of highly doubt he's going to be a one-term president.
Yeah, yeah. Are we headed for a civil war? Are we in one right now?
I don't know. That's hard to say. We could be in one right now, but I think that word gets thrown around too easily because people dying. Like there's been civil wars recently in other countries,
Right.
and people die, people get killed, a lot of people lose their lives. People aren't ready for that in America, and
Uh,
that's another thing why it won't be because as long as you can put food on the table and get something to eat, then you're
I don't
not
know. Antifa got a body count. I think the death toll from Antifa is like 41 right now.
really.
I saw something like that. Like the amount of people that have died from rioting and protesting since Antifa this year. I want to say somebody fact check me in the chat, please. But I want to say I saw a stat somewhere that said like their body count is like at 39 or 40 right now, yo.
It might be high, but like that's what surprised me too. You're right about that because certain sections of the country, like Portland, they got everything locked up from the government on down. The fact that they set up a Antifa headquarters in Portland, that should tell you something. You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't be allowed any like man, get them the hell out of here. Who's signing the permits? So certain sections of the country, yeah, you might be in trouble out here with some of these jokers. They might run people. they see you with a red hat on, you might be lights out. You might be a red light on you, a green light on you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Somebody in the chat said 33. I'm not sure.
33.
I'm not sure if that's correct number. It might be. Somebody said 30 plus died at George Floyd. Somebody says 33 for riots, but they did Dayton shooting and that killed 9 people as well. Somebody said, yeah, I read 33, including kids. I saw 33 on Twitter, and see that number 33. That's one of those numerology numbers, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, they put out those. That's 33 is a master number. Um, so yeah, man, yeah. So it's white folks been violent this year, and this morning I checked my Twitter, and white folks was tagging me. They say, "Yo, white on white violence is getting out of hand." This is what white folks was tagging me with, and this is just a very weird time in America, man. It's a very weird time. Do you think it subsides after election?
Uh, I don't know. I don't.
Let's say
Well,
Trump wins.
it has to for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Maybe till the next summer. Um, because they're obviously going to be deflated if they lose. But they'll probably try to uh, step up, in the spring and summer, of the 2021. Um, if Biden wins, I think it'll subside and stay subsided, because I think if Biden wins, I think we might have a different script for what happens with the vid, what happens with these lockdowns. I honestly think that will go away a lot quicker than. That's just me. I'm just throwing one in the air. I know no conspiracy, but um, I think I think they're holding that over Trump's head a little bit. So
mm,
we'll see. It depends on how the lockdown goes and everything else. Because I think the lockdown has contributed a lot of this violence, and they're going to have to crack down because the violence is going spiking up, but it is spiking since you know since the summer, and it's looking like I haven't seen this type of violence in Philadelphia in years, man.
mm,
So what? After they're gonna start locking people up again. It depends how far they let it get out of hand before they try
mm,
to reel it back in. I
mm,
think what people are leaving New York and shit like that. You know,
mhm.
um, I think the redactors gonna swoop in and buy pennies on the. It's a big plan. If you think about it, they were like, let these riots go out, tear up. Let these people sell. We'll buy backs. We'll buy them. We'll buy it. You know what I mean?
Tear it
They got
down.
nothing but time. You know what I mean? You have to realize that they have nothing but time. And we'll have to see.
Yep. I think Luger Storm brings up a very great point. Before I read that, Aztec Mega said Democrats might want to throw the election and contest the election and have seats secede, have states secede. Any creed to that idea? Too radical. Interesting thought. Luger Storm. I would love to see states secede. By the way, Luger Storm. This is interesting, right? He said, "What if Biden wins? Will the news, CNN, NBC, etc., keep dub cops killing black folks quiet? Also, is it Pog or Fog?"
Oh,
um, but I think that's a great point, right? Like, if Biden wins, niggas is done. Like,
yeah,
we done, right? Like because you got to remember they're using us to get into that spot. So once Biden gets there, like Black lives won't matter no more. Like all that talk, I feel like it's gonna go straight to the bottom of the barrel. They're gonna go along with their agenda. They're gonna forget about us like they always do. At least with Trump, it keep these motherfuckers angry enough to where, like, all right, like we got reparations on the table, right?
right.
If Biden win, yo, nigga, we ain't gonna get shit, yo. You don't see
No,
that? You don't see that happening?
nah. I mean, definitely black men aren't going to get shit. The women maybe, but
Mm.
they're definitely gonna they're gonna have to they're gonna have to clean up crime because it's gonna continue.
Mm,
And how they ever they do that, like that's what's gonna they're done using us. They'll be done using us, try to get to Biden in office. They
mm,
have no use for us. It's I think 50 Cent had somebody put that cancel culture thing, and 50 said high on the list is heterosexual males. And
mm-hmm,
people were killing 50 for saying that, but he wasn't wrong for saying that. And this is why I can't deal with some of these people because they can't be honest. Like you don't have to be like, just call it down a spade a spade. You can't tell me you can't see the propaganda against, you know, heterosexual males. You can't tell me you can't see that. And these people, like, they act like we was holding everybody down or something like that. No, we wasn't. We didn't care about what y'all was doing. To be honest, now the media and the powers that be want to shift stuff. Y'all just jump right behind them.
mm-hmm,
Drop right behind the people you should be calling supremacy.
mm, mm, mm. Real talk. So, what's some advice you would give to the white conservative crowd, um, especially seeing the transition from 2016 to now? What's some advice? What would you like to see them clean up? You know, if you was dictator.
Um, Stop being police stands. First of all, I think they get a little out of hand with that.
Mm,
Second, some of them guys are good at cutting back. Cutbacks. I mean, not cutbacks. Replies, clapbacks.
mm-hmm,
That's what this is. The meme war. We won the meme war and shit like that. I think some of these guys just like, I don't know if they can't push a racial angle. Some of them got nothing to say. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
They don't got no good claps. And I might be trivializing it, but clapbacks is important. This is how media, and this is how the discussion gets handled in 2020. You know what I'm saying? You
mm-hmm.
got to win some of this stuff. Um, I think they're doing a good job about you know stop following these rhinos and shit like that. I
Mm-hmm.
think they just got to get behind somebody real, and get the rhinos out of there. I think they've done a good job of that. But if you have to get behind, the ABLs and the Brandon Tatum's, I mean, you're just gonna have to do that. I think that because them guys being black, they have a little bit more leeway to say a little bit more than
Mm-hmm.
some of these other guys. Now I
Mm-hmm.
seen some of these other guys start talking crazy about real estate agents and stuff like that, but they get them out of there. Especially they white saying that. What I mean. They might walk Nick Cannon around the dog walk him a few times, but they ain't gonna do nothing too crazy to him. Yeah, I mean, but white folks said they be like, um, I don't know, just like a lot of their stuff is just like reactionary. Stop reacting to the left. I said all that to say this. Stop just reacting to the left. It should be more about you putting your way of life first.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like you
mm,
had a tweet the other day. The revolution is making babies.
mm, mm, mhm.
That's what they should be doing. They should be fucking. You know what I mean? That's what they should be doing. If that's their first and foremost. You seen Lauren Southern when she went and went and got a baby.
Did she?
And
Congratulations to Lauren Southern.
yeah. And Candace, Candace, she a Karen at heart. She went and got a baby.
Yep.
But that's what all these other jokers, they got to walk the walk. They can't be sitting there talking about white genocide and all this stuff like that if you ain't trying to stem the tide.
Yeah. Had some come out here and have some babies. Yeah. Yeah. Real
Yeah.
talk. Um. Wait. Where am I? I don't know how to say your name. You got some old Nordic font. Uh, no Civil War. The question is Trump the first or second Grachi? Marias or Sula come later? You over my head with that Italian history. Um, Hotep Tiger, $5 super chat. He said Roseanne and John McAfee got claps for these shines, clapbacks for these shines. John McAfee's wild. John McAfee got clapbacks for anybody. That's one white man you don't want to mess with. Um, so I want to touch on the police thing, right? Like you said, they back in the police. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with them saying, back the blue, support your Leos?
Well, I think, me personally, I think we have the most unprofessional police force in the world. I've been
Mm,
in several countries, and it's not just about beating jokers up, you know what I mean? But you gotta have a lot of professionalism. I remember I've been in Germany, Polizei. I remember I was in the Air Force, right? And this one guy, he was like an airman, and he went out, got drunk. He was drunk driving, crashed. Polizei got him. He tried to put some dip in his mouth, tried to throw off the blood, the BAC. Polizei said, take it out of your mouth. He was just like, I'm in America. They was like, you know what I'm saying? They did type shit like that. You know what I mean? Even in Italy, you didn't mess with those police, man. They got you got to pick one or the other. It seems like these guys, they're quick to go off on the shine. Now I'll call a spade a spade. They're quick to go off on the shine. Now the shine has no business putting himself in that situation.
mm-hmm,
Dr. Khalid Muhammad said, act like you behind enemy lines.
mm-hmm,
Give your name, social security number, license number. That's it.
mm-hmm,
And we
mm-hmm.
got a go problem. We'll take it to court. That's what Dr.
Right.
Khalid say, and this is why the shine should be acting.
Mm.
But they want to have confrontations with him and all that. I don't got no rap for these jokers, man. I'm just trying to talk my way out of it. You like you had one video. You said you finesse the plug. You can't finesse the fucking police. You know what I'm saying? I'll never forget that one. But that's why I'm saying like they got to relax on the cop stuff, man. Like because there is like the cops are never wrong.
Mm,
That's what I'm saying. Like I listen to these talk like Brandon Tatum. Like how many cop stories did we have to go through with this guy to he defended every last one of them. He's not even a cop anymore.
mm, mm,
You know, I think we just need more professionals. We need like how can we like look at it objectively? Some of these cops shouldn't be cops. You know what I'm saying? They have the wrong mentality. I don't know what's it going to be. I think they're trying to push us in this position, and I think I don't know. They want to nationalize police force. This might be another step towards globalism,
mm,
but they got to do something, you know, because this is their argument. This is the Shine's argument. I hate it. They say, "Oh, this guy's white guy gets not shot, and this black guy gets shot," but they're two different states. They're two different. A whole bunch of laws are different and shit like that. Different people. I don't know why we expect these police to be robots.
mm.
They make mistakes like everybody else. I think that's my thing. I just think we have to hold police a little bit accountable. I
Yeah.
don't see there's anything wrong with wanting. And me, police should be trained. Like I watch Chinese videos, documentaries. The people that go into their police force, they got them like 6, 7 years old. They doing kung fu out in like big ass football field. Whoa, 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 whoa. It was the most craziest shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? They was all in sync and everything. They trained them since then. I don't
Yeah.
understand why can't we do that in America? We don't do we don't do shit right in America. We don't a lot of shit we don't do right. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I think we got to harvest the people. It might look a little like what the fuck is that movie? What's that female heroine and it's like some dystopia? Um, it had different districts.
Oh, Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. You know how you had certain people they had this sort of skill. That's why I think it has to be something like that. You should be able to take. See the white man's smart, man. And, like I try to tell people that white man's smart. This is one thing my dad told me. White man's smart. He isn't no fucking dummy. He is not no fucking dummy. Um, a lot of these tests they're taking is make they take they can pattern a test to exclude people. You know what I'm saying? And they're
Mm,
excluding the smart people, and they might be putting people that might blow a gasket out here. It's almost like with teaching. You got to take a test to be a teacher. So why can't they exclude these females that be sleeping with these kids?
mm,
That's an epidemic right there.
mhm.
Every day there's a new video. Oh, she slept with a senior 16-year-old, 17-year-old. Man, my cousin down in North Carolina was knocking his senior year. He was knocking down the teacher in his class.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy out here. It
Wow.
has to be a clear difference, as a propaganda. See, the white
Mm,
man is smart. He can put like, listen, they can if they standardize a test, they can put whoever they want in the uniform.
that's interesting. So what's the police test like?
I don't know, man. I went
Mm.
to. I was going to take one. And I forgot. I forgot. Yeah, I had a police job lined up, man. My black ass went out and got drunk that night, and I fucking missed the test.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. So you're saying if we had a certain type of test, we could weed out like some mentally ill people, right? And
Definitely.
have a certain type of yeah, 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 yeah. I don't think our restrictions aren't stringent enough. Nah, you're absolutely right on that. All right. So what's your advice to the black community?
Uh, be open to change, man. I think we're locked into some old stuff. I think we're having a clash between generations. Um, I seen a lot of people talk about the Hoteps today. Like we should have stopped them when we had the chance, and now I guess we just got buck wild and shit like that. I don't know. One thing I would like to see is like I don't know, man. It's a whole bunch of stuff will change. I think we have to accept everybody. You know, um, we're quick to call people coons and shit like that. And that's why I'm like, I think we Uncle Tom's and shit like that. I think that's something I think we should be putting to bed.
Mm.
Is there people like that? Okay, yeah, whatever. Okay, I got you. The guy down south, whatever. He was fooled. He was adopted by his white parents and shit. He was rocking that Confederate flag, talking about he died with that damn flag. Whatever. You all call him whatever you want, but he's still a black man. You know what I'm saying? That's just whatever life he had. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't put people in my shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like people quick call me a coon. I'm dating a Paul, whatever. I'm just saying, like I'm a victim of my environment. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up in most majority white neighborhoods, majority of my time. I didn't ask for that. You know what I'm saying? I even spoke about that, like on that, like why we out here. He said a shine tear up shit.
Yeah.
But if you go, if you, some of these people are just going to date out because of different environments that they were raised in. It might not be a conscious decision, and also you have to understand people's parents are weigh in on that too. Like
Uh,
if you have a mother you're not really looking up to, you're not going to look for that in a mate either.
uh,
So I see a lot of passing of the buck, in the black community. Um, like if you go on Lipstick Alley, right? It's wild. They blame the black man for everything. They
yeah.
won't take credit for nothing. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Like even talking about like they were talking about black men. I was like, who raised them? Right?
Mm.
It's like we were just we didn't raise them. I was like, the culture goes through the woman. And then their comeback was, well, so y'all gonna admit that interracial kids with black mothers is more black than interracial kids with white mothers. I'm like,
What?
I'm like, probably,
Okay.
because the mother's just going to be closer to the child. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
most things, most instances,
Yeah.
So I think we got to take, we don't take, we got to get rid of this group think.
Mm.
You know what I mean? If we can get rid of this group think and still be close together, we'll be good. Like
Mm.
I have no problem with Mark Lamont Hill. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with his politics, but one of these days I'm gonna try to go to his bookstore, give him a few shekels. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'll
Mhm.
put money in his pocket. But we
Mhm.
need that same thing our way. Because I know the black conservatives will do it. HOTEPs will do it. But the
Mhm.
black liberal will not do that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That's my thing. You know, I try to spend money with the people I think need it.
Mhm.
You know, if I want to hire somebody, it's like, yo, y'all know any brothers cutting trees down? If I gotta go to the Mexican or the white man, I'll do that.
Right.
But if I can go help my man out, I'll do that too. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I expect, I don't expect no different from white folks doing it. I don't expect no difference from Mexicans or Hispanics doing it. That's what they do anyway. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It's
Mhm.
just up to us to do it. And but
Mhm.
I'm glad people start talking ownership finally.
Mhm.
I think with
Mhm.
Nipsey, I think with Hoteps, I'm not going to exclude us because I think we were, like it or not, we were kind of, what's the word for it? Part
Ahead
of
of
the,
our time.
no, I think we're part of this influence of, ownership, talking ownership and stuff like
Oh,
that.
okay. Yeah.
Dash, we're the
Dr.
only,
Claude Anderson.
like LLC Twitter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we were,
We contributed to that.
yeah, because you know what I think what had happened was I think we took the bullets. Like
Mm.
somebody had to stand up to these people, and it
Mm.
was us.
Mhm.
Now everybody else started branching off. Like, man, they're not. We don't care what they say. Screw them too. You know what I mean? So I think everybody after they seen us take these bullets and we're still standing, everybody
Yeah.
else wanted to jump in and like, oh, we
Uh,
can do it too. And I'm glad that happened because I think other black voices needed to be heard.
yes.
That's what I would try to get to these jokers that were trying about hoteps. Like, why would you want to stifle another black voice?
Mm.
They love doing it. Like they're
Mm.
such. I can't take these. I mean, oh, I don't want to talk about
Why?
that.
Why do you?
Yeah,
Why do you? Why do you think? Why do you think they want to stamp out our voice so much?
because they doing what the white liberal tell them to do. You know that, man. The white liberal, what the guys whipping that fucking ass.
So they under full control of the white liberal, and the white liberal said Hotep bad attack.
Pretty much.
Mm.
Pretty
Mm.
much.
The same white supremacists they complain about.
Yeah, they see. They don't know. They don't know that. You know what I mean? They don't. They don't. Let's be honest. Some people don't have the foresight or the vision or the third eye to see it. You know what I'm saying? You got
Mm.
to at least be open to seeing what happened in America. You know, like they killed that white man right back there. Anything, and if they got the power in the conspiracy to kill the president of the United States, to watch to be in the building when Malcolm X was in there, to kill King, a Joker in a riot is nothing. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying?
Mm.
Like some of the stuff we're seeing is agitated, is planned. You know what I'm saying? Like they knew they were going to have riots all summer. How
Mm.
they know that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They had that shit ready.
Yeah.
Like, and I swear, the 2016 was more evident. The Dallas Bull, that was come on, man. Like, come on, that bull was. What was that guy's name? I forget his name.
Chris Dorner.
No, not Dorner. The cop, the dude in Dallas. Remember, I think it was 2016, 2016.
Dude in Dallas, what he do? Oh, oh,
Makai X,
oh,
I
with the
think.
black car.
I think
No,
his
that's
name is Makai
Charlottesville.
X. Makai X, I think his name
Oh,
was.
oh, the Hebrew Israelite.
who
I,
was he was doing playing Call of Duty with them jokers out in the street. Did you see him duck around the pole? He did them jokers dirty, man. It looked like Treadstone. When I keep saying Treadstone, and that's on that. I want our credit, man. With the air, give us our credit, man. I'm starting people saying Treadstone, like give us our credit, man. I want give us our roses. If people talk giving us our roses, we setting so many trends out here, man. Like I don't.
we done lost count.
We did, man. I'm like, I didn't even know that shit would catch on, man. I kept saying it, but like learning from you Brandon and stuff like that. You can you in your book, Twitter, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was like No, grifting. Come on, man. Like we take it to another level.
We took it to a whole nother level. Yeah. They grifting, we branding. And they wonder why they can't take us out and why we still here, no matter how hard they try. I love it. I love it. Wait, what did I? All right, Fudge Mail, MF Doom, still on the run. The run and Unk Jedi mind tricks. Um, I butchered that. I'm sorry, Fudge. Vado, what up? He said, "What are your thoughts on Trump banning critical race theory from government institutions?" Um, hmm, I don't know. That's a good question. John J. Race mixing, bad and cringe. Megan Mokley. What's with this BLM movement admiration of Xi Peng, ruler of China? So many of the members praising China, calling them Africans of the East. Oh boy. Hotep Tiger, what up? He said, look what they did to Marcus Garvey. The black liberals need to do better and know who their allies are. Yeah, they locked up Garvey. You know what I mean? He snitched on that. You know what I'm saying? W.E.B. Du Bois was the first Takashi 6ix9ine. Said, look, there you go right there. Get them boys. They arrested Marcus Garvey. That's real talk. But you're right, man. I think that's the thing, like diversity of thought, man. You know, you know how I became a troll
How?
was I was saying, like, you remember I was on my Ali Shakur esoteric shit, and niggas was saying, like, yo, you trolling. And I'm like, trolling? Nah, this is deep knowledge. Like, this from ancestors, dog. And I'm like, oh, things people never heard of comes off as like the whole period conversation, right? Like women ain't supposed to get their period. Right?
Oh, right, yeah.
Remember niggas used to think like you was trolling. It was just like, nah, we got this straight out of Dr. Layla Africa's book. It's on page 35. Like, right? And so then that's like kind of like when I realized, like, oh, you can say things people never heard of and they get upset about it, right? And now and that's like goes to like what your point is, like, you know, that monolithic thought that the black community has. Yeah, it's so disgusting, man. How do we break through? How do we get through to the shine?
We gotta keep grinding. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, we're blessed. We start this podcast, and I think we're starting to reach people that like I never even expected we reached before. We're just gaining popularity, and I never thought we'd have. That's for everybody can do this. Podcast is a new weapon. You know what I'm saying in the information war. Um, it's easy. Like a lot of people are running or jogging or walking. You can listen to that, much easier than, radio and stuff like that. That's another, you got to get the information out there and let the people decide. Um, because once they see the one thing I'll tell you about the shine, once they see a wave, they're going to jump on it, and somebody just has to come up in with a big enough wave and they'll get right on it. I guarantee it.
So you saying basically when we pull up in the Ferraris, say we're gonna have to get you a big stupid Uncle Hotep chain too.
I don't know if you have to go that far, but yeah. If they see, if we can continue to progress, or somebody else can break through, they'll open some eyes. It definitely will. But
Mm,
they got a strong hold. One thing, the Shine community has. We got to stop with this. You know, we have to have nuclear families back, and there's a fight with that right now.
mm,
Um, you know, it's some of these women will even troll like, why is a man even needed? Like, I don't know if you saw that tweet last week.
mm,
This is we got to stop that. And I think black men have to step up.
mm.
I think we have to step up all in all aspects. Education wise, health wise, We can't be just slanging that BBC, man. I mean, we got to tighten up, man. I think that's the primary thing. I think we got to tighten up. If black men tighten up, then I think the black women will tighten up. They're not going to follow nobody's lead. There's no one to follow. They're not going to follow some shine. They were like, man, I can do this my own. You know what I'm saying? I think
Mm-hmm.
if black men step up, I think the culture will follow. But you gotta stay strong, man. There's too many times these black men will just, they'll cook out and I don't know, they'll just do whatever the woman says. I don't get it. So I was raised my mom and dad was in. I had a nuclear family growing up, even though they split up. But my mom was never like, the wannabe leader, or anything like that. She was like, go with your dad, go get Leslie. You know what I'm saying? It was like when something came up, he had to dig in in his pocket to get something done. You know what I mean? To get a new oil heater or something, or fix the roof. I mean, nowadays it's all backwards. Carl was civil right. A lot of people should follow him. He was he was drawing on them today because he was talking about he can't be a nanny and a breadwinner, and he was talking about his you know it's his job, to be the breadwinner in the family. And we got so far away from that
Mm-hmm.
people were digging in on, like even if it's not the case for you, that's what you should be trying to strive to be. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We got it so backwards that like looking after kids is frowned upon.
Mm.
Like there's no more important role in the house than raising the children. There isn't. You know what I'm saying? That's the one you're teaching the next generation. You know, I know I might be bidding on about doing the virtual learning, but at the same time, I'm conscious that I get to spend more time with my daughter. You
Mm.
know, like I'm now I'm not going to get this youth back.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get this childhood back. Memories back. At least I get to spend more time with her. You know what I mean? And I try to push her when I can. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not going to be young forever. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, I
Mm-hmm.
think we just got to get more involved with kids, and I do think you know black fathers are stepping up, but it's like the ones that are in the lives are good, but when they're out, they're out. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mm.
like that's where I think that the disconnect is coming from. Like there's too many that just aren't there at all. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But the ones that are there, I think they go do a good job, and I think those numbers are correct. I think they spend more time with the kids than other races, but I think there's such a dearth that it doesn't make a difference because even if there's 3 out of 10 that don't have fathers out of life, that's 3 kids that might be fucked up, and that draws that eventually that number adds up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Nah, real talk. That's powerful what you said. I spent a ton of time with my kids, and I was talking to an investor, last week, and he was asking me about, like, how much money I'm looking to put into startups, like companies. And I'm like saving up to do that because I'm trying to put 10K into my son. I'm trying to put 20K into my daughter. Like
Right.
these are my startups, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I have these tech companies, but I can't put 20K into one of my tech companies before I put 20K into my kid.
Right.
And I ain't talking about college. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like shipping them. So like yeah, it's so powerful what you said, man. And like with these kids, yo. And I know you spend a lot of time with your kids. I see them, you flick it up on the gram, and that's beautiful, man. Just being a father is so important. Uncle Hotep Factor, 8 p.m. Sunday,
Mhm.
Eastern time, right?
Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know if I'm doing tomorrow. I mean, this Sunday is a holiday. We might do something, but I might. If I don't, I'm gonna do Monday. I might try to get Patriot Day in there. Um, just follow my YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. I'm back posting videos. The YouTube the white man took his foot off our neck. So back to the YouTube grind. You know, hey, just take advantage. That's one thing we got to do is take advantage. You know what I'm saying? Keep it moving. But I appreciate everybody that came through tonight. It was I was hesitant. I was hesitant about saying some certain things, but it was, I don't know, it felt good to get certain things off my chest, you know what I mean? But I told it, that's how I grew up, you know what I mean? There's some people's, you know, is ugly. Some parts of my life or people's lives are ugly, man. You just got to get through it.
Yeah, I mean, like when you said that, like there's some things you didn't want to share. Like my whole childhood, I don't want to share, right? Like there's a lot I don't want to share because it was fucked up. It was as much good as I had. It was a lot of fucked up shit that happened. And when you said the only child thing, that resonated. When you said you was in the suburbs, and then you had your cousins that was, in the crack house or whatever, like, yeah, me too. Like, all that shit resonated with me. But I definitely agree. Like, there's some shit, I don't, want to say. But I think one day I'll tell somebody somewhere. I'm trying to have a white man give me a check for it. That's it. But nah, it's a great talk, man. I want to get you up here, and I've been growing in popularity with my interviews, and I want to make sure we came up here to talk to you. Everybody knew who my partner was, Hotep Nation, and yeah, man, thanks for coming through.
Cool, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Already, y'all, it's been another one, uncomfortable conversation. I'm gonna be back next week with Jason Whitlock, so make sure y'all subscribe. That's gonna be a wild episode. Jason Whitlock, Hotep Jesus. We're going to talk a lot of shit. We're going to talk about a lot of LeBron James sports shit, what's going on. Hotep Tiger said, HJ, thank you for sharing this interview. Unc, you're a role model to us all. God bless. Word up. John J said, Marcus Garvey probably rolling in his grave because he's race mixing shines. Patriot J, great conversation. F you, John J. I'm out of here. Y'all be safe, y'all.
All right, man. Peace.
All right, y'all.